right, this is the Recreation and Parks Committee. It is 6:35 on April 17th. Present is Councilperson Martin,
Here.
Mayor Southard, and myself, Councilperson Camera. All right, let's just jump into it because there's a bunch. Again, kind of Tiffany and I have been talking, so JP, this is going to be about a little bit about getting your opinion on a couple things and kind of catching you up. And if David was here, I'd catch him up too. But all right, there's so much. I wish I made a list. I should have, because that would have been good to start. Let's start with the ponds. So Aqueduct has started treating the ponds. We have asked about putting in a fountain in the ponds. The price they gave us last year is very different from the price they gave us this year. Plus, we have to get electric run to them. So AEP has been out to look at that, plus another vendor.
We've had Bradley Electric and Higher Power. Because any project that's over a decent amount of money, I feel like we should get 2 to 3 estimates for those particular projects. But I have not heard back from either one. But both of them have met with AEP.
Okay. We think it's gonna be pretty substantial, so more than what we were estimating when we budgeted last year, because I think we thought 25,000 is what we'd spend between the 3 ponds, just getting the fountains put in and whatnot. I think that's just the cost of them installing them. It doesn't include the electrical. More than likely, the Lily Pond, which is the smaller one that is down this way and behind the houses. So it's behind the cul-de-sac that's down here. Mm-hmm. That's the one that we're probably not going to do anything to. It's because it's a lily pond and it's been planted and everything. I think we want to start and just see what happens as we leave it natural. It's also the shallowest of the 3. Mm-hmm. But the other 2 are a little more present, and there's definitely a lot of stagnant water in the Black Sycamore one. I think the other one does better. The middle one by the bridge, the tunnel, but
So that one's just gonna be a matter of aerator versus fountain.
yeah.
And with all of the growth all the way around it between the cattails and all that stuff, I don't know that an aerator is not, we might be spending a lot of money on a fountain that's not as visible as we would hope.
Yeah.
Even though we can try to keep the cattails cut down, there's trees growing around it now. There is something there's more projects that are gonna need to be done to that pond rather quickly this year.
Yeah. Well, and I think that will tie into the tractor stuff later, because I think that would be useful over there to tackle some of those projects. But anyway, so that's where we're at. They definitely are treating them. They came out and got the algae moving and stuff. We got that report the other day. So
Yes.
it looked better the day after they did it.
Yeah,
so,
they're good.
Which is
yes,
great.
they're really
So,
good.
it looked weird because it looked like they were just taking a big hose and washing down the side of the pond, but the next day that algae was pretty much gone. So I don't know what that was, but it worked. So there's going to be, we're going to have to decide how much money we want to spend extra as council.
And it really,
And I guess we have to approve it anyway, don't we?
it's already been done.
Because we put it in the budget, it's approved?
And it's not over 30,000 or any of that.
Okay.
So technically, no, I don't think I'm gonna have to come back to you guys at all for that. So really, I think I'm just gonna, and we may just need to do like a yay, nay, if there's question.
Yeah.
As long as it's under the budgeted amount, and we just decide to do the 2 ponds right now, I mean, it might just meet, and again, we don't vote in certain places,
Sure.
but getting the recommendation or, something along those lines, just to see exactly
That's true.
what we're leaning towards. So, I think last we had talked, I think the fountain and the one that's very visible is preferred. One of the conversations one of the messages that I had sent back to them was, they were asking, exactly what's being installed and all of that. And I gave them all of the specs for that, but I also reiterated the fact that I'm not looking for bare minimum for electric to be put in these locations. Later on down the road, if people decide they want to do other things in these areas, I don't want to be stuck with, okay, well, we have a fountain and that's all we were able to do. So I have given the information that, this is what we're looking at, but I'm looking for, making sure that we have electric at these sites. The sites that we're talking about is the amphitheater over near the shelter, the ponds, even over by the Lily Pond with the potential of putting some electric in that particular area if we decide to do something in that area later. Just because we aren't doing an aerator right now, if we're gonna have the opportunity to put all of this out and have them do it all at once, maybe we go ahead and get some electric in that area. And maybe we don't, maybe we
Right.
take it off the list,
Yeah.
once we see the prices.
Like getting the infrastructure already
Yeah.
set,
Correct.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, cause what if we put small pavilions or
Right.
shelters or gazebos,
correct.
then we have the electricity already over there.
Very true.
This has already been a month-long project and we're not even anywhere near ready to do it, so
Yeah.
just getting it done, and that's been the problem in the village, in my opinion, for a long time, is doing the bare minimum every single time we do everything, and then the next person, if this would have been done when MI was in here to begin with, and we would have done some cost sharing or things like that, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It would have cost us pennies compared to what we're getting ready to spend, so, thinking that we would do additional work 10 years from now, it's just gonna cost even more to do it then, so at some point,
Right.
people are gonna have to start getting stuff done for the future
Right,
as well as now.
yeah, so.
I like
And,
it.
and the money for the money for, well, we had, the 25,000 was coming out of the park improvement, what's it called?
Parkland.
Parkland Fund, which is a separate fund, it's not general fund money, so.
And the
It is
rest,
money that's set aside already.
and the rest of that money is what we set aside to do the shelter
shelter,
and, some odds and ends over in that area.
Yeah.
And that money, it doesn't
We've
have
done
a funding.
trash cans,
Yeah.
picnic tables, the grill
Right.
at the pool that we bought.
And that's really not a funding source that we're gonna have in the future, so at some
Right.
point, honestly, that money just needs spent and move on.
Yeah,
And I don't mean blow it, I mean, the other problem with the village is there are funds that have been sitting there for
yep.
tens of,
Yeah, That Mary Yost.
yeah, there's money that really we could have done something with and beautified certain areas or whatever. And the money's just still sitting there because it's,
Yeah.
I don't wanna say it's not a priority because it should have been a priority years
Someone
ago.
Someone has to take ownership of
Yep.
it. And no
And-
one, it hasn't been there, so.
No, so that's where, yeah, so,
And maybe we used, I think we talked about this, didn't we talk about maybe using that Mary Yost funds to do the landscaping, the annual plants at the entrances and stuff like that? So we just need to get with our landscaping company and see if they can put
Yeah.
some recommendations together for us. So step one was just getting them, which is number 2 on the list here. The mulching and everything, so they should have come out Friday, right? Did they come out?
I think
They
they're
didn't.
no, I
Okay.
think it was
Wasn't it the 14th?
I don't know that they were out Friday,
Okay.
or
I
maybe
don't
they
think
started.
I don't think they were either, I didn't see them, but, they were originally scheduled to come out Friday, they're gonna do an initial weeding, and then they'll do the mulching. And then we're gonna take care of the rest of the mulching, and the very few buds that, have not been done. I think there's the question of, are we gonna mulch around the village's trees? I saw that come up.
And the easy answer is, I have no interest in it, not to be difficult. I had talked to, and this is one person's opinion, number one, it was not on my list of things that we would continue to do. Not for any reason other than, we haven't had a lot of people ask about it, I saw one comment about it. I had talked to, the woman that was here with Lisa from, I'm gonna bash it, so I'm not. That was here this weekend.
Master Gardener.
Yeah, she actually did not recommend doing it. And she said if you do it, you do not wanna put very much mulch on them at all. So if we're doing it, I would need to know why people want it done. Is it just to look pretty? Because it's actually not healthy for them.
Right.
Maybe certain trees it is. I
Right.
don't know anything about trees. I am only repeating what was told. Should we do it or should we not? And the answer from her was, no, you should
Right.
not.
Yeah, no, I've heard the same thing, so.
Yeah,
Not that, well, what I've heard is that you should not mound it up.
correct.
You are actually supposed to sink the tree down, and then you can put stuff around it, but the tree should actually be lower in a lot of places. put the tree up because people think it looks better, but it's actually worse for the tree.
I feel we should follow that recommendation.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
We have the ability to do it. I mean, again, you're only talking a couple $100 in mulch, a couple hours of time. I don't think it's a matter of that. I think it's a matter of, again, I don't wanna hurt any of the trees. I don't wanna do any of that long-term
Right.
and it is, there are maybe better ways to spend money and time.
Right.
I don't know. It just wasn't, it definitely, the quick answer was, nah, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I think we're okay with it.
And if something changes and somebody really
Yeah.
is gonna die on that hill, then we'll talk about it.
Right.
Agreed.
At this point, I think we're okay. But I think, Brian and I have gone back and forth, you and I have talked a little about just getting a dump truck of mulch. I know in the past we haven't because we haven't done a lot of mulching, but
Correct.
I'm not quite sure what all we need to mulch. I do think we have I know we have over at Maplewood, we would have at the dam as well. And then at the pool, there's that flower bed in front of the kiddie pool.
Yeah. And then there's
And
inside the
then-
flower beds, there's the back flower bed, there's quite a few there, inside the fence too.
Yeah, so we probably could go through a whole truckload of mulch if we had it, so it's just whatever's gonna be easier, I guess, for the village at this point in time. So that's kinda where we're at with those. Again, I think we have opportunities as we go through, let's see what they've done. Again, I don't think they did enough at this Farview entrance last year, and there are a lot of plants that have died, a lot of the boxwoods have died in the last year, so we have a little bit of patchiness because there's three, and then we're missing two or three, and then there's another group.
And I don't think there's a good water source over in that particular area to
Yeah.
actually water them,
Right,
to keep, and I'm not saying we can't, again, I'm not trying to be negative and,
No,
and
no,
talk about,
right.
but, having somebody responsible to water those plants,
Sure.
if
Sure,
it's
sure.
in the middle of summer, or if we do it in the spring or fall, it doesn't matter when we do it, I mean, it was,
Right.
80-some degrees yesterday.
right,
But making sure that they're getting watered appropriately, and I don't know that was done in the past, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it wasn't, but I'm assuming it probably was not,
well, my understanding is that MI put sprinklers in that entrance,
and they were
but
cut somehow or something.
I didn't think they were cut, I thought they were just never hooked into a water line, but now with the school
something.
putting the water line in, we had an opportunity possibly to hook into
I
that.
can ask Eric about that tomorrow.
So, and I don't know what that would cost, but I know that's just more money. So,
Right,
and again, it's probably not a this year project, but looking ahead, it'll be a future project where we're replanting the beds and, just so that it's obvious it's not MI, Minerva Park.
Right.
So, and
And
maybe
I-
even cleaning like the monuments and stuff, I don't even know what that takes to do that, but they probably could
they
use
power wash and they do
Yeah,
different things like that, because we had one of them done and it looked really
Yeah,
good, so that's
yeah.
something that could easily be done.
The Cleveland Road ones especially, I
Oh, yeah.
think, need,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I think part of it is, my goal was, as soon as the landscaper does come out and get some stuff done this first week, is to kind of take a little field trip around, checking out what he did, what they didn't do, what was good, what wasn't good. If there's ones we were expecting that weren't done, or vice versa, if they're doing more than what we expected. If we need to modify some stuff with them, we can for future.
right.
Again, I think they're mulching one day, so, yeah, I mean, it may take a couple weeks to see exactly what's being done, and then do we
Right.
wanna add more to them?
Right, right.
So one of the projects that I'm gonna be either working with Brian in the next day or two, or, I'm not sure if she had a chance to email the landscaping company, is some of the holes over at the park
Yeah.
with the grass that needs,
Right.
somebody's gonna have to remove that black stuff as much as possible, I understand, I don't know how much
Yeah.
is there, but it's gonna make more of a mess when we go remove it, but at some point it needs done, we're gonna have to put topsoil on it, get
Right.
some of the quick growing grass, that might be something that's easier done from the landscaper, it might also be something that they don't have time for.
Right.
And at this point, it looks horrible, so if we can just do the best that we can until, after I just got through saying we need to quit doing that, but if that's our only option, to
Right.
patch up some of that stuff. Maybe we just get some quick patch and, maybe even some, stay out caution tape for a couple days until it gets
Yeah,
fixed in
right,
that, just
right.
in that little square. It's not gonna, they'll still be able to swing, they'll still be able to play on the stuff, but, just a little more cautious of running through that area until the grass grows, so.
Okay,
And it's shaded, so I don't know how hard that's gonna be, so.
right.
I'm gonna ask the landscaping company, but if I don't get a response from them, I feel like we need to hurry up and get something done before we're in June and you're never gonna get it to grow at that
Right,
point.
Right,
So we'll see how that goes over the next couple days.
yeah. So playground, we have the mulch coming for that.
Wednesday.
And so, right, it's just putting mulch in, just kind of prettying it up again for the season. I think at some point, it's gotta be on the radar of this committee to kind of see what we might do over in that area, if we wanna make improvements, if we wanna add equipment, replace equipment, anything like that, but
And I would
I'm
love to
sure
talk
there's some
about mulch,
funds over there, yeah.
different types of mulch,
Yeah.
different options. I did quite a bit of research on the rubber the last time. We had, it did not go over well, but I think this council's a little different. There's some that are definitely interested in
Yeah.
doing that. I highly recommend taking a trip over to the park right next to my house. That mulch has been there for several years, the rubber mulch. Go see what it looks like. And that's all I'm not trying to push it. It has not faded like some people have said. It is, still in place, and I'm sure, disposing of it 10 years from now or 20 years from now, but we did just do mulch 2 years ago and spent $1,000. This was about $1,000, and I'm rounding up, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but we spent almost $1,000. That does not include the 3 lifeguards, I believe we paid a couple hours to go over and do it.
Right,
So, and it's time consuming, it takes me out of it, Barb out of it, calling, setting up, rescheduling, all of that, depending on when it rains. Anyways, it would be nice to look at a couple options that's more of a low maintenance. It's
Longer
not,
term, yeah.
longer
Yeah,
term,
yeah.
but there are people that do believe it's not good for the environment. I don't know enough about that because everybody has met me. I think it's something to look into.
yeah, I don't disagree, so,
Agreed.
yep. Okay. I feel like those are the 3 little things this committee has.
You started small.
Yeah, I try to get the little stuff out of the way.
Well, don't worry, I got a big list.
We have, so the 2 bigger ones, I guess, should we talk about the tractor?
Whichever one you wanna talk about.
Let's talk about the tractor. Let's just talk about, so the question is, some of the questions are, what accessories do we need? And it's not want, it's need to accomplish the tasks of the village. So what are the tasks of the village is really the primary question.
Right, and I think that is one of the best things that we need to do, this maybe not going as fast forward as let's get it, and I'm, just as guilty of that.
Yeah.
But what does it look like? What are we trying to accomplish? Is this going to accomplish the task that we need? Do we
Right.
need bigger? Do we need better? Do we need this? And this is not we need this instead of a truck, or we need a truck instead of this. The truck is from a totally different fund. It doesn't mean we're still interested in getting it right this minute.
Right.
The big push for the truck, in my opinion, was, we thought there was a potential of losing Blendon Township and trying to be prepared for it. That is, at this point in time, not even on the radar to happen. Obviously, it could happen at any given time, but it does not sound like that is gonna happen anytime soon.
They seem satisfied with the
Oh, yeah.
resolution.
Oh,
so-
yeah. So, and again, it never snowed this year, so we literally
I know.
spent
Yeah, I know.
$17,000 on nothing. So they're way ahead right now.
Yeah,
So, I don't see that program ending anytime soon.
right,
So, again, it's from a totally different fund. I am still of the mindset that it would be nice to have a truck that did do some different things. But it still goes back to the conversation that nobody has really sat down and done, because we've never had the funds to do certain things. We've never had the staff to do certain things. And at this point, not at this point, there has been circle conversations as, do we want a maintenance department, a maintenance team, call it what you want? Are we trying to do the landscape in-house? Are we trying to just
Right.
hire it all out? What does our landscape team look like? Meaning, even if we have the equipment, do we have the capability of doing it? One of the biggest problems that we currently have is we have all of these projects to be done. but we don't have anybody to operate them. We have 2 lawnmowers and now we're talking about getting a tractor, and I only have one real employee. So, you know, at what point can my one employee go do all of these different things? So, you know, are we gonna continue to call the tree company every time we have a tree down? Are we gonna continue to call mulch people and have to call in, you know, all of the teenage, so you guys get the point. So
Yeah,
it's,
no, absolutely.
what do we, how, moving forward, you know, as of right now, we cut the grass.
Right.
That takes 75, and I'm saying this because from what I saw last year, I would say, and I'm gonna go with 75% of his hours in the summer, and I'm talking from right now until September, end of September, is cutting grass.
Right.
So 25% of the time is doing other things. They are on a lawnmower, weed eating, and that is with help. We have one of our seasonal people coming back, I reconfirmed that today, on May 8th, which will be helping cut grass and do all of that. Last year we had 2, not including Tanner and Carson and all of them that helped pitch in here and there. We had 2 seasonal, at least for a little bit. Henry, I think, was only here for a couple months, but either way, we have to determine, are we going to try to take back landscaping in-house? We spent $10,000 on landscaping this year, and the issue that we've had is getting people hired, even at $15, $16 an hour. I'm not saying that's too much, I'm not saying it's too low,
Right.
but what does that look like?
Right.
So these are all, this is all great in theory, but if a lot of these projects still can't be done because, I mean, I think the other part is thinking that we can just go to the lake and start pulling out trees and pulling out all of that stuff with one employee. I mean, if this thing starts to teeter-totter or this or that, or, you know, somebody guiding it in, we don't have 2 people to monitor these projects, and some of these projects can be extremely dangerous. And I don't know that one person should be doing those types of things. My concern with the backhoe, and maybe this was not my thought, and this is not exactly what I was expecting, because this is a lot smaller than what I was expecting. This isn't gonna get mulch delivered from A to B. This
No.
is barely a
No.
bucket.
But the front
No.
loader will, the front bucket, that's a must, which is not pictured here.
I guess I was not, and I'll say this, I don't think I was expecting this to be a little lawnmower with a couple attachments, and that's what I feel like this is. I actually thought that, and this is the first time I looked deep enough into it, cause again, I'm trying to
Yep.
be more educated about what we're spending $60,000 and $70,000 or 50 or whatever. I actually thought it was more of like, and that was my own ignorance, and I will say it right there. I guess I was expecting like a bulldozer type thing.
Yeah.
With attachments, and
Yeah.
I say this because everybody, like, the company, like, something that can actually go like, tear up driveways. I'm not
Right.
meaning that, but that could actually go and dig holes and go and dig these things. I feel like this is very difficult to even dig for. I feel like this is actually not either, this isn't enough for what we actually need,
We might need something bigger.
or we're gonna still end up hiring everything out.
I just wanna reiterate,
And maybe that's kind of where I'm going with this, like, the wood chipper, it's great, but once the wood is chipped up, where are we chipping up the wood at? Where can it be stored? We don't really have a and these were all questions that I was asked earlier. This is great, but what do we do with it?
So
Down to
let's
maintenance.
So now
talk
I'm
through
going
a
in
little bit of
circles.
it.
So
Yeah.
let's start somewhere.
Let's talk a little bit of it. So this to me, I think this is bigger than it looks in this photo. But the first thing I see here is 72 Auto Connect mid-mower deck can be installed. Do you know by chance what size our lawnmowers are?
Pretty-
I'm gonna
We
guess they're
have
probably
a-
in a 50, no? Bigger?
60, so, 60, the small one's like a 60, I think, and the big one that we just got, the Cup Cadet, is like a 72-inch.
So it would be the
But that's for
same.
the hill. It
Yeah.
would probably be about the same.
Would it be faster to cut grass with this, with that attachment than the current
The
one?
zero turn will always be faster because of the
Okay.
durability
Okay.
situation.
So there's not really from a lawn mowing perspective, which is the biggest
I-
task we have.
This is, okay,
And I don't know if it's on the list.
I just wanna start out by saying that we have a lot of repairs in the neighborhood that will be coming up that will exceed over $100,000, my imagine, not that I would know how to estimate it, but with the pathways falling apart, the little bridges and so forth, I would imagine well over $100,000 to do repairs. This is a fraction of the cost. We get to keep it for the life of the equipment.
Sure.
And this piece of equipment will not only help repair these pathways, help upkeep
What
the
repairs
village.
it? That's my first question. Like,
Well-
what machine
Okay,
on here?
so-
Cause I just educate
Right.
me because
So-
I need to know, I
So
don't,
for example, the backhoe along the path where the dam is at, we could, dig holes to put posts with either a post, digger or with this, backhoe itself. If we can mount, say like long logs,
Mm-hmm.
and then that could put wood to brace it and then gravel to help so that it doesn't wash away. That's one small example of why this could come in handy. We could dig around the creeks or the little rivers, for example, to help, or put rocks in there to help sustain that bridge for longevity of longer life by just adding rocks. This will help do that. I don't see the attachment for the front loader. That's a very important, that will carry mulch from one side of the neighborhood to the next, huge amounts of it, gravel. You could make pathways, roadways, anything crazy like that.
Like I can see,
This and these two attachments,
yeah, what would
and
we
this
ever need,
attachment,
what would we ever need a forklift attachment for?
it's like, well,
Like,
it's not necessarily a forklift attachment, or I guess it is, it's a pallet,
is,
to lift
a
up pallets
pallet,
and stuff
but-
like that.
I've
I-
never seen a pallet here, outside of the lawn chairs, the pool chairs being delivered on a pallet. I don't think.
The wood chipper, we have a lot of downed trees in our green space areas, believe it or not. So this wood chipper would definitely benefit in that sense. We could keep it over by the grounds building and then reuse that to save us money on mulch. That's one idea. So we're kind of self-sustaining that way. But the chipper, the front loader, the backhoe was 3 very important attachments along with the post.
is this wide enough though to actually do something with?
I
I
do
feel
not know
like
the
it
measurements
looks,
on this.
and
It does-
maybe the picture looks horrible,
it
because
looks
I feel like
deceivably
that's
small.
not going, I don't even feel like you
Right.
can dig a big enough hole to do anything with. I
It's-
feel like it would take twice as long. Again, I was expecting,
Yeah.
you know,
were- Yeah.
you know what I'm
consider it
talking
right.
about.
Yeah.
If
It's
we
not that.
consider a traditional size backhoe, this would probably be half that size. But nonetheless, you're thinking hydraulics, so this is pretty capable machine. You might be able to get a bigger one, I would imagine. If we could do a little bit bigger one, I think that would be perfect.
So we were over at the community building and they were moving gravel. And they had a machine that was similar to this. And I was watching them with this little bucket move gravel that was like this much. I'm like, I could literally go hand pick that much gravel
Sure.
up and throw it, and it
Sure.
would do faster than what this thing was doing.
Right.
But I don't know that this isn't bigger. I don't, that's where I guess I'm trying to see like what
don't think that's
realistically
huge.
is it going to do? Like, I feel like this is to dig a hole, like a little hole. Like, that's more what I
Yeah,
was
this is
expecting.
This is the front loader. This is what typically, this would be the most predominantly
Right.
used attachment of having such a tractor, piece of equipment, would be this in the back.
What is that?
This is a loader, but this is the wrong type of loader. We want a loader like a bucket loader. This is a grappling loader. This is not the right actual product.
So,
But this is used
Okay.
to lift things, to dig
no, I get,
things.
yeah.
For
No, I
example, if
think
we wanted
that's
to
use, I think we could find uses for that
the
throughout
rocks
the
that were
village.
falling down, say for example,
Yeah.
on the side of all along the lake.
Yeah.
You could use this bucket, if not the backhoe, to grab those rocks and pull them back upon to help
Mm-hmm. Right.
save those banks a little bit.
Yeah.
Once again, this tractor is a fraction of the cost of contract someone to come in here, and we could have this for 10, 20 plus years to help maintain the village.
Well, and we don't have to get every attachment for it right away. I think
would
we
probably
need to
need
figure
3
out
or 4
which
right off the
ones.
bat.
So the bucket, for sure, right?
The
What-
bucket,
What
the-
is this
Yeah.
one right there?
This is not,
is a plow.
this is not pictured, this is,
I
this
don't
is,
think we need
this
the
is the
plow,
loader.
right? Yeah, no,
This
I
is
know
the
that,
actual,
yeah.
For some reason.
I don't think we need that, right? We probably don't need the,
Plow.
what is that? No, the mower deck, right? Cause
No.
we have 2 lawnmowers.
This is a plow.
That
Now-
is, that's not what, I mean, just so you know, that's not what this is.
Oh,
That's not a.
That is not
lawnmower?
just, no.
oh, this is for bushwhacking, I'm sorry. This,
But again, I don't know.
Okay, would that be the tool that we would use on that hill by the tunnel? To get all that
Yes,
brush down.
Correct.
Yes, it does take
Okay.
out brush.
That's mostly what that one would be
Yeah.
used
So then-
for. So MI used to use a bush hog.
Okay,
Bush
And
hog,
yeah,
that's-
they used to use that when they did it twice a year. It's
Okay.
usually done about twice a year, is
Yeah.
my understanding. Don't quote me on that. I know
Yeah.
I just got recorded saying that, but I believe they did it twice a year.
Okay.
It has not been done since MI was gone.
right,
And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, so I don't know if it's something that, you know, we have 2 lawnmowers that are definitely high powered, you know, we did pretty well on the 2 lawnmowers that I feel like that we got. I don't know that that wouldn't cut it down if you did it a couple times, which we don't do. I
Right.
don't know that that isn't capable of doing, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, so I just wanna talk about this attachment right here, this seems like a great idea, but I feel like a 60-inch wide, that might be able to do your path, and with not this, we don't have that much snow, and, you know, and even if so, the ATV that we have right now is more than ample. If we did upgrade eventually in the next 5-10 years and had a truck that could do this kind of stuff, like, this would be obsolete. I don't believe this is something that's gonna be beneficial to the neighborhood.
so bushwhacker, front loader,
Backhoe.
backhoe, and,
Well,
I mean-
before we even talk about the bushwhacker, I would do essentials. Loader to move gravel to help, build the site, that's the main
Right.
priority is gonna be repairing
Sure.
things right now.
But
I would
now,
say
I'm
front
I'm
loader.
gonna say something and you're not gonna like my answer.
Okay.
We're never gonna do that project.
Oh, we're
what
not?
project?
You're gonna have it engineered, and those are much bigger projects.
Oh, the
Oh.
path,
The pathways
Yeah,
and
the-
things like that, or
the
the
bridges,
village,
yeah.
one person is not gonna be able to do that
Oh,
job.
sorry.
It's gonna, no, I'm saying, I'm just saying realistically, from everything I've seen in the last 4 years, the issue that you're gonna have is going to be,
we're gonna need the
there's,
engineer.
there's no, it's gonna have to be engineered, and that's probably, I mean, those need massive work.
Yeah,
They're not gonna, it's gonna have to be engineered from a licensed company. It's, yeah, I mean, it's not going,
Okay.
I think going back through all of this is, I think that's what we have to figure out. What are the essentials? Because yes, those projects are needed. Those projects are gonna be huge. And that being huge means the village is not, we don't have the
not doing it
capability
ourselves, yeah.
of doing stuff.
we're gonna have to hire.
We're never gonna be able to get funding for pathways when we say we're gonna do it with a backhoe. I mean, it's just not gonna happen, like, people aren't gonna give us grants for it, you're gonna have it engineered. And you will not get anything passed without it being engineered with an engineer stamp. Been there, done that, as far as it took me 1.5 years to get that swimming pool done.
Right.
The problem that you're gonna get when, it can be done so much easier in our minds
Yeah,
than legally, because it has to, we are a municipality, safety comes first, engineering has to be done on every single one of these projects, and it's gonna be hired out. There is no way we will ever do a repair.
especially with that dam.
Are we able to get Mike Flickinger to,
Oh, he's already, let me rephrase that, he already knows it's coming.
okay,
And in my opinion, that's gonna be one of our next multi-million-dollar projects, because some of those things are, I'm not just talking the little I'm talking about the dam behind it, where those trees are getting ready to cave in.
Yeah.
but that's part of the lake project.
I don't know that it's gonna be. We'll see.
I thought
That
that's
whole
what,
side of
isn't
the
that
It
what
might
Mike
be.
said? Mike talked about bringing in an arborist
Yeah. Yes,
to
yes, yes.
talk about the trees and having a,
Those are more, I think, I thought what he was I could be wrong. I thought what he was talking about there was around the lake.
Okay,
I am
what are you
talking about
talking
behind the dam. All of that
where
is
the amphitheater is?
up on the hill,
Yeah.
where like the path, if you look over where the path is, like if you walk up the hill of the path, you are this far from the path starting to
Oh,
fall
sure,
in.
Sure, yeah.
So that is all gonna be engineered,
Right.
and there's no way we're gonna touch any of that. There's no way.
Right,
I mean,
okay, yeah.
we aren't gonna have the capability, and those, I don't wanna say that those bridges can't be redone from us, I just don't see it. I see us being able to do, fixing the woodwork and things like that, but when it comes to actually removing the bridge path,
Right,
That's the,
which needs done, I mean, we're not in disagreement.
Right.
I mean, there's like bumps and,
no, I know.
but the
Yep.
other part to that is figuring out what type of engineered something that isn't, I mean, the water is it's the strongest thing in the world, and we've gotta figure out what type of material to use, because if not, it's just gonna keep doing it.
Right.
oh, yeah.
There has to be something.
The other thing about this would be, So when Lisa and I were walking the reserves, she was talking about a lot of invasive plants that are starting to come in. And, you know, if we don't act on them sooner rather than later, it's gonna be more difficult, more expensive. But a tool like this could really help. Cause some of those trees are starting to get big, those alder trees, I think they
I
are.
still believe for the price of this, especially for next 10 years, this is a fraction of what it would outsource, and we could do this.
But I once again remind everybody that we either have to figure out getting more employees, because
Oh,
as much as we
right.
wanna talk about having a piece of equipment.
Yep.
I would say 75 to 95% of his time in the summer is on the lawnmower. So, which is when you would do a lot of these projects. So thinking that we have the time or the employees to go use and do these projects is a different topic. So we have to do this hand in hand, because this is great when it sits next to the two $20,000 lawnmowers that we currently have. And I will tell you, if you ask finance, and I'm gonna say this on there, we do not have a budget for 3 employee, part-time, year-round, anything like that, of any sort. It is not budgeted for that. Like, we don't have, and it can be done, whether we do a full-time person or a part-time, but I don't think you're ever going, okay. I don't think in the near future you're going to have more than 2 actual set part-time. We could move some of these projects around. Some of these might be able to be done in the winter. I don't know. It's gonna depend on weather. It's gonna depend on all of that. But the only concern, the biggest concern that I have is that we don't go get this type of project or this type of item, because between June, July, and, you know, May, June, July, and August, I don't know who's gonna be on that. I don't know who has the time to do it. Unless you guys want me to start looking for somebody to hire, because number one, it has to be a village employee that gets on it. And I'm not putting a 17-year-old,
Child on something. Right.
no.
Right.
So those are some of the things that we continue to hire out because we still are a small staff.
Right.
And either we need to fix the staffing, and that needs to be a serious conversation before we start thinking that we can take on all of these additional projects. And I'm not here to kill anything. We need a truck. Okay, we do need a truck. I mean, the truck that we have is not whatever. That is neither here nor there. It doesn't mean if we get this, we're not gonna get a truck.
Right.
I don't have an issue getting a tractor, just like I didn't the 2 lawnmowers. But we do have, both of them can go out on the lawnmowers. The person that I do, the other, when Paul comes back, he will be able to be on a lawnmower as well. But those are the only 2 actual employees that we currently have, that we have budgeted for. So if we're gonna go do this, we need to figure out who's gonna have the time to do it.
Right.
And figure out it, because we do have projects that can be done. There is no doubt that the village does not need this. That I guess I don't have the thing.
We just don't have the manpower.
But we don't have the manpower to run lawnmowers, weed eaters, do these projects. I mean, we're going to have to hire someone else as well, if we're going to take on these projects. I mean, cutting up a tree, having something for $60,000 for the 3 trees that are down and being able to chop them up that we have time for in April. Again, we were able to, if we would have had this, Tanner wouldn't have had to go dig a hole for the deer that died. Like, there are things that we could legit use it for. But so far, those are not in May, June, July, and August. I don't know. Yeah. So I think I think it's something we need. I think it's something, I think eventually we need a truck, we need this, we need to figure out, is John Deere the best option? Are there other prices that we should be looking at? I think there's I know we don't want a Craftsman, but there are other companies that do. If we're going to spend this kind of money, we definitely need to make sure that we're looking on state term, which I do believe we are. But we also need to make sure, I know John Deere is probably one of the best, most well-known, but showing residents that we did do our homework and look at, maybe one of the other options just to compare, and then see what that particular one has. When we did the UTV, Brian and I worked extremely hard making sure that we went through multiple different companies, multiple different brands. We looked at what we got plus some other ones, and made sure that if anybody came to a council meeting, that the one thing that they could not say was, you made a rash decision and you didn't make a good decision. So this is triple the price of any of the lawnmowers that we have gotten, and we need to make sure that we get the right attachments and that we get the right one. And the last thing I wanna do is get this, if we would have bought, and I'm not saying, justifying the fact that we need a bigger and better one. I was expecting this to be a little bit more. And if it means maybe spending a little bit more money to being able to do some of those projects, again, I'm not justifying that either. I think we need to make sure that what we're getting is for the future. It's
Yeah.
not just for now. And if we're getting this because we think this is all we can afford, and this is only gonna do a certain amount of projects, again, when I saw the bucket, I was like, I was thinking we could go like lift up and actually deliver mulch to 5 or 6
Oh, sure,
trees, not one.
Right.
And then we decided we weren't gonna do that project anyways, but then
Right.
I feel like the bush hog thing is great, only because I know MI used to do that, and it would be nice to do some of the things that, and keep that area up.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I can go shop around a little bit, do some due diligence, see what types of more equipment. Would this be, for the future of a 10-year for a municipality? And then come back with some, maybe a skid steer might be a better option than a tractor, it might save us some money. And maybe you're just paying for the attachments on a skid steer.
This is a stupid question. Is this, and this is my, again, dumb question. Is there such a thing like more of a commercial grade versus, does that make, does that?
Yeah, and this is actually, and that's funny you say that, because as we look here, this is what I wanna call entry level commercial / high grade residential, being a compact tractor. Something more commercial grade would have been a full size tractor, but I'm guessing in the hundreds of $1,000s, something
Right.
that like you would see a construction site use.
But I think if we brought that to council, and again, I'm just saying,
Right,
maybe
by
we
the
need to
right-
look at a couple
right.
things and say, okay, this is gonna do these projects, this is gonna do these projects, are we ever actually going to do these projects?
Right.
Is there something better that we should be doing? Is there attachments that we could be adding to the current lawnmower, such as a bush hog? I don't know that there is.
Right.
But one of those pull behind, like, are there things that we should be looking at that maybe our other things would potentially do, and maybe we do more of like, and I don't know that we need a bulldozer, but I'm thinking the moving of rocks and the moving of mulch and the moving of that kind of stuff is like the big thing that I feel like we need, and I don't feel like this is the best
Adequate.
option
True
for
removal.
moving that kind of stuff. And digging a hole and
Yeah.
like, those are the first things I think
I
of.
think the other thing too, though, is that the places that we have that need are places that it might be hard to get a bigger piece of
And
equipment.
that's
in.
very true.
So when you're thinking about the paths and everything,
It's
this
very
is
true.
probably wide enough for the path.
Right.
But you go with a bigger one and now we're tearing up
Yes.
around the paths and
Yeah.
whatnot, so.
So maybe we can't do anything bigger.
For this, I agree, but we do need the right piece of equipment going, into the future, regardless if that costs more
Right.
or less. And also for those attachments, because as we go on, progress 10 years in the future,
Yeah.
that right piece of equipment will have all the attachments needed for the foreseen future. So,
I mean, I
we'll
think
investigate
if
more,
we're
I think.
looking at the whole of the village, right? I think where we have the most maintenance needs are probably the MI section of the village.
Oh, yeah, pathways.
Yeah, yeah, cause we have more reserve space.
Reserve space.
Which is why I love where we're talking about the maintenance, having the maintenance over in that particular area, only because I agree. I feel like
It's right there, yeah, it just makes sense to have it.
it does.
In that location.
No. So I think the only thing I would say is this enough? Is it too much? I mean, depending on the projects that we really think we're gonna do. What are we gonna do as far as staffing? Because again, I would love to think that we would be able to go do pulling trees and things like that from the lake, and I just don't see us ever being, not ever, I just don't see that as being something. I don't know how our insurance is gonna handle that, but aside from that, I just don't see having one person going and doing that kind of stuff, that it's really gonna work. What are you gonna do, pull one out and then you're gonna need 2 people to do most of the projects, except for the bush hogging. And if it's not, if we're gonna have to continue to hire things out, I just don't,
What is our budget for, is it 1.5 persons, or is it two
So,
part-time, or?
the way that I believe it is right now is 2 part-time, is what is technically budgeted, and maybe 1 seasonal.
Okay.
There might even be 1 seasonal on there that's actually budgeted.
Okay,
So, and the hard part is finding someone that has that flexibility. We've talked about this in the off season. There are things that could be done. The hard part is, and I know once these projects are done, they're just kind of done, but there's stuff at the pool that could have been done this winter, but they're boarded up. You know, there's different things that could be done, but it's not a, you know, I mean, it's great in theory,
Right.
but, you know, then there's 10 times more work to undo them and then board them back up and do all that. I mean, there's little things that we could have been doing. So again, I want to make sure that if we are doing this, that I would rather see something that can do some of the projects that we would need. But I would also like to make sure that we do double check apples to apples as close as we can get with one company to another. I'm not the one that votes on it. Everybody
Right,
knows that.
right, right.
But I also am the person that everybody points fingers at when you guys spend money. So all I want to make sure is that, again, we got the UTV, yeah, we got that, and I feel like Brian and I did a really good job going through and looking to see, like, that's what I was expecting. I don't know why. That's exactly what I thought.
So, this is a skid steer, and you can have the same amount of attachments as you can for a compact tractor, but this has wheels on it. Most of them have actual tracks, so you can not tear up grass, and as opposed to this, the weight of that sinks down when you have, and I cannot find a picture that has tracks.
And that would be, I mean, I think that would be something that either whether it's in your next committee meeting is to bring some of these options. And I know we want it sooner rather than later, but I think the concern I have is getting it put in the garage sooner rather than later might not, I mean, I don't know who's gonna be on it once
Right.
we start grass
Sure.
cutting anyways.
Right.
So I guess, you know, again, I'm not saying that you guys can't continue your reading, you guys do your own thing. I just wanna make sure that we get the attachments we want, and that it does do enough of the things that we want it to do. And what exactly is that you guys want it to do? My concern on the pathways and stuff is there's no way, but
Well,
we're gonna do it.
we have one council meeting and then we have a work session next, so.
Yeah, so maybe we
before-
can get,
Before even the third reading,
Yeah.
we would, you know, we still have
yes,
that, so we have plenty of time to talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
And we can,
And I'll
we can
plan on this.
invite Brian to kind of,
go through,
yeah.
yeah, that's a
I
great
mean,
idea.
It's coming from our maintenance department,
It
I
would,
would like to,
I agree,
I would like to hear what the people who would be using it have to say about it.
Correct.
Because if it's gonna make people's lives easier, I think
Correct.
that is helpful, but
yeah, and I
we
know
need to
that
be
there's,
mindful of the
yes,
expenses too, so.
there was definite need when we went to bury the deer, and there's been some things that would have definitely made my son's life easier.
Yeah,
But I'm not looking for the 1 or 2 times a year that it would have made my kid's life easier,
Sure.
because he's young, he can dig a hole, but you don't want that for your employees. I mean,
Right.
you do want, if you have the capability of having the tools for somebody to do their job, you have the tools for somebody to do their job.
Right.
But if you're getting tools that are not going to,
they need to be used and not just sitting in storage most of the time,
correct.
yeah.
And I think that
Yep.
making sure that we get the tools that we need. So I think that was the only
Yep,
thing on that one, but I think it's something that
okay,
we just need to, yeah, so that
That
is
seems
your
too big.
task right now,
yeah,
is to see if we can get like an apples. And I can tell Brian this too, I know he'll hear this. What we can have him do is price this one compared to just one other brand, if that even exists, maybe it doesn't. But then it would also be nice for something like what you just looked at. Just to see what something like that looks like, then bring those to council and say, this is what would be good about this is what's not good about this. And then maybe they decide to do it, maybe they decide to postpone it until next year and get something bigger and better. Maybe they get a truck and that, like, I have no idea. But the money does need to be appropriated. We have not done the appropriation yet because we do not know how much what exactly we're looking to do.
I just wanna say something about the brand names. John Deere is a very reputable brand name in the sense that there's
Absolutely.
parts available and maintenance, that's a
Correct. I agree.
big thing going forward the next 5-10 years is, will this have easily maintenance parts available to fix on the,
Yeah.
Totally agree. I had a John Deere at my house for a very long time.
Yeah.
My dad, I believe, still has it. We went and got a Craftsman for me because, I'm gonna tell you, it was cheap. John Deere was like $7,000, mine was 1,200. My view was, and this is not a commercial item, mine was, I can buy 4 of them for the price of this one, so even if it breaks twice as fast, now of course prices go up, but I will say, everybody told me it was junk and it was never gonna last, and I'm 5 years on 1,200 compared to 7,000. So, but the part thing, it's Craftsman, so I don't have that problem, but parts is definitely something to think
Yeah,
about, depending on
absolutely.
what company you go with.
Yep. Cool, okay. You wanna talk shelter?
Sure,
Do you have it in front of you?
I do, I have everything in front of me.
Perfect. So we have some options on the look of the shelter. So we really can kind of decide, I wish that one was available, cause I like that.
I do too, I do too.
I like the modern look of it.
The Bradford, the Dublin, or the Timber Ridge?
So the Dublin,
I priced today,
okay. So they're close in price. It's just
Very.
kind of what look we want. Yeah, well, it's gonna be a metal roof. We already know that. So don't look at the asphalt shingles.
This is very nice.
So this is opened
Uh-oh,
on the
hold
end.
on. No, okay, I'm gonna have to find that out. The first one, let's make sure.
Yeah,
Let's
the
do this real
Timberlake,
quick.
we've already,
Oh, they both say Oak Ridge shingles. Metal roof, okay, hang on. Metal roof,
We definitely want metal, right?
yes. Okay, so both, I wanted to verify, both of them do on here say metal roof. This one says black, so it could be. I will tell you, these are within $1,000-ish of each other. The one he priced for me today was this one. And I kinda like the arched here versus like the straight there. I know that's really weird.
is that an option though? Cause I know in this one that was an option.
On the
The
12 by
straight versus the curved.
I don't know.
Because if we can get this in the curved, what I like better about this one is that the eaves are finished.
Very simple.
See how they're open on the
On the
other one?
Dublin? Mm-hmm. Let's look. Well, actually, we're not looking. I'm gonna look at something different. Don't worry, I have it. I came prepared for once in my
Does
life.
anybody like the Bradford?
I don't not like it.
Only thing I don't like is the little roundy parts.
Which is the opposite of what I liked.
Oh.
You little brat.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I'm okay with the rounded.
Okay,
Okay,
the
rounded.
Dublin. Okay, the Dublin, for the record, is the same price. It should be the same price.
So the roof line is pretty much the same on both of these.
Yes.
This is
The
what-
difference is gonna be, I mean, even the posts are the same. The difference is this right here, is that this is unfinished basically.
And this is
And we
art.
talked about maybe in the future adding gutters. I think it would be less expensive to add gutters on this one because you're gonna
Yours.
have to put a
Yeah.
fascia on that one.
So the Timber Ridge is out?
No, I mean, I just brought it for you guys to look at.
It's not.
I wanna say it's not very manure
I think of a
park-ish.
cuckoo clock when I see
I,
that one.
I know,
Yeah, it's
just
not
so you
very
know, I
neighborhoody.
feel like, this is, don't laugh at this, but I feel like if this was down, you remember how they were talking about, and when we determined that you would
Yeah,
sink and all that?
yeah.
That would
Beetlejuice,
look
the
great
bridge.
down in, with the woods surrounding it and all of that. It's very rustic looking, in my opinion. It doesn't match the village. These to me match.
Yeah,
Remember the movie Beetlejuice when he has to go across the bridge?
I remember Beetlejuice, but I don't remember the
it'll-
bridge. But it does look
right,
like a
yeah.
covered bridge. I think I like the Dublin better, personally.
I like the smoothness of the Dublin, it's
Yeah.
very,
Yep.
and this is going, like, when you look at the schools, you look at the houses, it's kind of modern contemporary. So something that's simplistic, that will be timeless in a sense, whereas, you know, the Timber Ridge is very,
Yep. I wish we could get the vinyl wrap posts, but
No kidding.
they're much more expensive. Alright, so this has 8x8 posts. It's a 712 roof pitch, 2x6 rafters, 1x8 tongue and groove ceiling. Oh, so it's got a little more of a finished ceiling on the inside. Sounds like.
just for clarification, this will be all nice and open up like that, or will it actually
Yeah.
have a back wall?
Oh.
No.
No, nice and open
We're,
up?
yeah, everybody kept
Does
saying
that
that they
have
wanted it
a-
completely open.
I like it.
So I kept going, After the first company, it was more of metal, this is more wood.
Wood.
So that's why we're kinda going around this to, yeah.
It does say curved bracket, so, for the Dublin. And look at this one, the vinyl wrapped one, see, it's a little different.
That's very nice.
So we might have the option of changing those supports,
What do you
the
think?
shape of the report,
To what? Cause I
I
wanna,
don't, no, well, I'm just saying, see that small picture looks
Yes.
a lot different.
These are
Yes.
your trim, I believe, it's material or,
oh, that one's for the vinyl, yeah. This is only with vinyl.
That you can do those
Yep.
corners, okay.
I definitely like the Bradford and the Dublin the most.
Well, what I do like that, and both of these have this, it sounds like on the inside of the ceiling, what does it say?
Tongue and groove ceiling, CDX
Yeah.
plywood roof sheathing.
Yeah, it's 1x8,
Aluminum drip edge.
tongue and groove. So to me, that means it's kind of that's not 1x8, but you know what I'm saying? That they put that down first, then they put the roof, they put the sheathing and then the roof over top, so it gives it a finished look on the inside. Which is nice.
Ooh, just curiosity, would we be opposed to cedar or more on
No.
the pine side?
We're going pine,
I like
only because
pine.
it's, double.
It looks a lot better than cedar.
Pine does?
Yeah, it'll match that side, I think.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it goes from 24,000 to 36,000, and actually, just so you know, the vinyl on that one is not, oh, yes, it is, cause it only goes up 2,000 from that, okay, yeah, it's, $14,000 more from there to that, yeah.
Pine it is.
Yeah. No, I'm fine. Okay, cool, Dublin.
Okay, so was there anything else that you wanted me to ask as far as any options that you guys saw?
Okay, I have one question. Will there be no lighting inside of here?
As of now, no.
Okay,
We are adding in the ability to put
a camera.
electric and things like that through the posts.
Okay.
So it's easier to hook up later. That was an add-on for, let's see, electric ready posts.
Ooh,
And he
nice.
was doing 2 of them.
Then we can wall outlets to plug in like a little,
So, but as of right now, again, I don't even have the electric to the site or any of that, so.
It really will be similar to the basketball court in that it closes at dusk.
Correct.
Like, so why would we put
yeah,
lights
got a
in
point.
it?
No. I like how simple it is. It's very,
It's very
I
simple.
like that.
And we want the curved brackets.
If we can't, yeah, if that's the option.
Ooh, are we getting like one of those park barbecue grills?
We have well, you know what? A Boy Scout put one in for us before at the community building. Maybe they can do the same thing.
That'd be awesome.
Or an Eagle Scout, I don't know what he was. They do a bunch of stuff over at the community building. Cool. All
Done.
right, that's 5 topics done.
Done.
Now we just have the pool left.
Go.
Okay? Unless did you have anything?
Oh, no,
else?
that was,
Okay.
I just wanted to see where we
Alright.
stood on this at this point.
Okay, cool. Let's start. Okay. So pool, right now the big thing, there's 2 big things are the food license and the shade sales. Those are kind of our 2 big projects, that involve multiple people. The food license, we submitted today our plans for it. Takes up to 30 days for that. With ours being so small, I don't think it's gonna take that long. Cost us $500, this is some of the money we approved the other day. We mailed the check off today, so sometime this week, everything should be good for them to start looking it over, and hopefully we'll know pretty soon. The projects that we have to get done though, still as part of this, is we have to get a hand washing sink installed that has hot water up to 100 degrees. And so we're working with a plumber on that. We have to put in a drop ceiling, with vinyl washable ceiling tiles. I already have that priced out. I can get it all from Lowe's, and thankfully, there used to be a drop ceiling in there. So a lot of the pieces are still, like
Oh,
the
nice.
edge pieces are still in there, so we don't have to purchase those.
Supposed to be easy.
And the wires that support the main rails are still attached to the ceiling, so I don't have to buy any wires to attach those. So just kind of reinstall what was there, and get that done. And then I also recommended, and we can do anything we want, I thought it might be cool if we used that garage epoxy that has like the flakes in it.
Ooh, I like that.
And you can get one of those garage kits for, I think it was $170 or something like that from Lowe's, so. You know, a little nicer than basic, but either way, just gray garage paint was like $74 for a can of it. So this will just upgrade it just a little bit.
And I think I put like, I don't remember what I put, it covers it,
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
yeah.
I went to Wasterstrom on Saturday and talked to them about a commercial freezer, so we can buy it local. It was about the same price as what it was online. And I got all the specs for it, cause I had to submit that with the plan. They can deliver it within a day or two once we order it, but it is a commercial grade freezer. The refrigerator does not have to be, according to the lady that came out, does not have to be commercial grade because we're not storing anything in it that is, what is it called, like TSC or something like that, TCS maybe? I think it's temperature controlled substance or something.
So,
Because Cokes don't have to be held at a temperature to be served. We do it because it's more convenient and people want that. Same thing with the candy. You know, candy doesn't go bad if it's not kept cold, and we just keep it cold because it's in the heat.
right,
And it melts. But we can't keep the ice cream in there because it's not commercial. And those are commercial. I've started to put together the order for the food. I think we are gonna have to ask for more money, just because, well, I'd like to go over the list because I don't want it to be too complicated. I'd rather us have a few items that we sell through than have a ton of items that we end up having at the end of the summer. And the one thing we did last year was we bought a lot of multi-packs of stuff, and then you'd, like, one thing would sell out of it, and then you'd have like 4 other items from that pack that took all summer
plain
to
Lay's
sell.
doesn't sell, but Doritos are gone, or vice versa.
Right, right, exactly. So I think we have enough
Stick with the hot item.
data from last year to kind of say, hey, this stuff sold, this stuff didn't sell, why don't we stick with this? I just wanna get some other opinions,
Right.
Besides my own. So I'll
Well,
kind
yeah,
of run
cause I
through
had
that
some
with
that I
y'all.
thought would be better, you know, like the peanuts and stuff, I mean, so,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, I have ideas, you have ideas, but
Yep.
the whole point to having everybody give their opinions is because you have multiple
have-
people that are there, so, you know, just because you like certain things, like the Talkies, that was like, everybody kept saying, that's like the number one thing, and
is.
so we
Never
get them and
know.
we sold through them in an hour.
Yeah. And
we
tonight
don't
I
need
was
them.
like, James, what do you think if we don't get Takis? Cause that's like one of the few items this year I'd have to get from Sam's Club.
Right?
And so, you know, that's just another trip.
You
But
know who has them though? And we need to look and just to compare, or maybe we only buy them when it's on sale and we've got 6 weeks to do it. Kroger.
Oh,
They have the small bags.
BJ's opened up a brand new warehouse up there in New Albany.
Yeah,
I bet we
I know.
can check that out.
it's still a
Right.
trip, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
So I think the only way that I would do that is, and I'm not in disagreement with you, is if we're gonna do it, we just need to buy X. And when they're gone, and we
Sure.
just are done with it. And not 2 bags of them, but we know we sold,
Oh,
you know, go
yeah,
back and
yeah.
look and see how many we sold. I don't mean go and buy exactly that many,
Sure.
but, you know, I mean, at that point, let's make one trip, let's figure out who has it for the best price. If Kroger goes on sale in the next 2 weeks.
Right.
We just go buy 10 packs of it and be done for the
Yeah.
season.
Well, and what I was like, well, could we get those flaming hot Doritos instead
Right.
and not do Takis at all?
Did you see what I just had? I'm not, I
Was
shouldn't.
were those?
No, they
those
were the
Flamin' Hot
flamin',
Cheetos?
they were flamin' hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
tell.
and see, and Cheetos didn't really sell that great last
No.
year.
They're so
Because
good.
they're
I threw 'em
Cheetos,
away.
right, they're
Yeah, I
Cheetos.
ended up
These are
throwing 'em
flamin'
away.
hot
Yeah.
Cheetos. It's different.
So, you know,
Flamin'
there's,
Hot Cheetos are like
there's,
Takis, but better.
there's a little bit of
Agree.
that thought. Now, of course, the nice thing would be all the ice cream, all the candy, and the nachos, the pretzels, all that stuff will all be stuff that we order. It's delivered, we can order Mondays and Fridays, and it's delivered within a couple, or we order 48 hours.
Right.
Do we have like hot exclusive like items as far as ice cream and stuff like that?
We have better selections than last year. I'll go through the list here in a second.
Alright.
Cause again, they have like 18 different ice creams.
Asking for a friend.
I'm like, I don't think we need 18 different brands of
No.
ice cream, so I'd rather kind of get an opinion on what we
I
should
agree.
sell
I-
and kind of stick to
Yeah,
that.
and I agree with the chip thing. I think you need to have a plain chip, you need to have a Dorito, you need to,
Yeah.
but we don't need 3 flavors of
No.
Doritos. I'm in agreement with that.
So I'll go through that here in just a
Yeah.
second. But, so finishing off the concession stand, obviously, there's a little bit of work to get that put together. So hopefully, the biggest thing for, on my end, is if I'm gonna put the ceiling in and do the floor, you know, I wanna get it done sooner than later. Yeah. So anyways, and I don't mind doing it, it's just, I wanna get it done, so it's done. Everything else that we're hiring people out for, you know, that's fine, whatever schedule we get it done. But I think we have to have our food license a week prior to opening, if I
Memorial Day or
remember.
something?
Yes.
Yeah, so, it was in the email, I'll go back and look. So that was the big one. Oh, the sunshades are the other one, so the sunshades have come in, we have them, they're 10 feet by 20 feet, we bought 4 of them. The issue we're having is the installation of them, because there's a little nervous about hitting a power line or water line, because we think they're marked, but then they may not be, so. I don't know, they're gonna rent an auger to dig them, that might, I don't know. In some ways, I'm like, maybe we just hand dig 10 holes and be careful and safe about it, then take an
Right.
auger and
So one of the concerns
Yeah.
that,
dig them up.
right, we did get everything marked to the best to their ability. If their plastic lines are a little bit more difficult to find. The one line we know is in front because that was one of the ones that was repaired this year.
Sure.
When he was out there, I told him to do the flower bed and back, cause that's, Jason and I had that conversation. I called him while I was standing there.
Yep.
Brian is concerned that, he has sent me a message that he's concerned that the main water line goes back there and he says that that was not found from Bloodhound. Now, the only way that it wasn't found from them is if they didn't do the whole project, which I don't, he was there for over 3 hours, so,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We can call him back out and have him check. We could dig them by hand.
Well-
We can,
A main water line is gonna be down 36 inches, right? Cause you gotta be below the frost line. Don't you? I mean, maybe it's not 36, but it's pretty darn deep.
I know when Mineral Park put in the original, everything was ceramic like that.
You know, that wouldn't have
pipes.
been a water line, that would have been a drain probably.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, I don't think a water line's gonna be, it's gonna be
These-
cast iron or something like that from back in that day.
Maybe you're right, cause he used to bust all the time in Mineral Park.
Right. It's not the same as a drain, but I
No,
think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's that chance, so either you're careful and you take your time and dig a hole, or we're sure, I don't know what the,
These are for awnings? They're not like the little umbrellas.
show him a picture. Do you have like a, cause I had to see it before I even
I know, I'm
understood.
trying to understand in my head. Like,
I'm talking to John right now.
oh, okay. I'd like to look
Me,
into
John?
Or John.
Oh.
John Poole. I don't know which brand we ordered, but these are sunshades.
oh, sweet.
So they're like, they're canvas, they're kind of a canvas material, but they help keep the sun out. And we got blue and a teal color, and we got 2 of each, and they're 10 feet
That's
by
awesome.
20 feet. And so you put 4 posts in the corner, and we bought the mounting hardware as well. So you kind
Oh.
of stretch them out, and they're taut. That way we're not putting umbrellas in that can fly out.
This is awesome.
And it provides a lot of shade. So the thought is on that side where the pump house is, that space in there would have all of these in here so that all the tables and chairs are underneath them.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. But we
That's
gotta
like a
get
nice
the-
three
we gotta
dimension
get
to the
the
pool. I like
post.
that.
And it adds colored out there
Yeah.
and some other stuff, so. I think it will look great. We just gotta get the post in the ground, and that's where we're having some trouble, so.
That's a great idea.
I gave I gave Brian a drawing, a measurement drawing of where, based on what we were talking about, where the post would need to be. It may be, we want them a little closer, because that, between them, it would leave about 2 feet, and we might want a little tighter than that. I wish I could show you like a couple of them. See this gap in between? Now these are triangular shaped ones, but there's always gonna be a gap between them. So we talked about putting them a little closer so that there's not, see, here's a pretty big gap when you look at them. But we can also look in the future to string lights up in them. It would be nice for sip and dip to have lights hung up on them, because we don't really have lights at the pool that work anymore.
We could have so many more cooler events.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that we'll get to with the pool, so, yeah, hold on, just wait, we'll get to it. Okay, so the sunshades is the next big thing. Honestly, I think I might go out there one day, maybe with Brian, and just spray paint where the holes need to go and kind of work that out with him, and then, again, it might be just digging it by hand, which would save us a little money too. And maybe make people a little less edgy about digging over there. It's tough to dig those holes by hand, but usually starting them is the hardest part. Once you get it going, it's not always so bad. So, and I do have a post hole digger that can help with. Okay, so she has seen all these. This is more about a second pair of eyes than anything else. This is signage that I created. These are low res images for now. Just
This
to
is
kind of,
wonderful.
Isn't it cool?
That's awesome. I love the font. Everything is all fun and exciting.
Yeah, I went with the tiki font, actually. So that's the menu for everything. I threw some possible names for it. Now, some people still want to call it the Soggy Dollar. So we might put a vote for the name of the concession stand in the newsletter next month.
Do we wanna, are you trying to name, how long would it take us to get the, sign?
48 hours.
So
What if the first day that the pool opens, we let people vote that come to the pool,
We could do that. I'm fine with that.
and then at the end of the day, or the end of the weekend,
Yeah,
I like
vote
it.
for your favorite name.
Yep.
We do 3, and then they only get 1 vote per
Yep.
person that walks in the door. They can vote twice if we do it for 2 days, I don't care. However you wanna do
Bathroom
it.
sign?
so just to kind of brighten it up a little bit,
So friendly.
the ones that are there are fine and probably
No, this is much better.
required because they have braille on them and stuff like that.
Oh, you can have this like turn out really big and put it like in a frame. That way water doesn't damage it and people can just.
That is 2 feet by 4 feet. That's what I designed it for, to go in the snack room area.
I love the merchandise.
Yeah. Look over the pricing too, because that's kind of what we were talking about for, I think we actually decided to go a little bit lower on the hot dog. Maybe $1 lower on those.
What kind of hot dog are we talking? Nathan's, the good stuff?
It's Edinburgh is the brand. It is a highly recommended.
Is it like the
Beef hot
machine that
dog.
just turns the thing like a?
No, these are a frozen hot dog in a bun, with a bun, and we microwave them and heat them up. That, we have to sell prepackaged with a level 2. So unfortunately, we can't be cooking the stuff because that's a level 3. Yeah, so right now we're limited, right?
Right.
But here's the best part, I think by doing some of this stuff now, if we can get this new pool with a concession stand,
This is definitely open the door for the future.
we're already learning the things that we need to know to have a successful concession stand at the pool.
This is brilliant.
So here's one more sign. I gotta fix this one up a little bit, cause we have an A-frame down at the village. Those QR codes go to the Jot form pages where you can actually sign up and pay your fees and everything.
This is like next level. I like it.
It's all about trying to do the extras, right? We gotta We gotta do the extras. So birthday parties was one of the items that council approved. It's $150 for the party. It's 2 hours. They get 10 passes to the pool plus 2 adults. Bless you.
Thank you.
So, I mean, let's think about that. A 10 pass is $80. Adults right now are $12 each, so that's $24. They get ice cream. So ice cream, the cup of ice cream is $1.50 each, so they get 10 of those, so that's $15. And they get water. Waters are $1 each, they get 10 of those. So that is 129. They get it for 150. That's not really a deal, but don't tell people that. Don't say that on the recording. Anyway, $150. They get 2 hours. We'll have a picnic table too for them that they can use, so they can have the whole area set up. You know, and
I think this is really,
$150 for that.
I love this.
They'll get waterproof wristbands, so we know who's in that group. This is something else later. That's not
Sorry.
signed. And then the after-hour pool rental, we've had this forever, where it's $250 for 2 hours and $100 for each additional hour. 3 hours is the maximum you can rent the pool, because we don't rent it past 11 p.m. So it'd be 8 to 11 would be the max, and $350 would be the price, but that could also bring in some extra revenue for the pool.
I want to throw a huge pool party.
And there's already a group of us talking about renting it just to have a party afterwards. So
I mean, for everyone, like, I'll
Yeah.
pay for it. Buy
whatever
some
you want,
kegs.
whatever you want. So give it eyes over it one more time. Make sure I don't have any spelling errors or anything like that. Just, it's gotta work, because you don't wanna make a sign only to have it not work and then have to make a sign again.
I'm not the best guy for spelling, but I just love the way it looks. I think it's brilliant.
Okay. All right. Just a couple more things and then we're done. Okay. This is the 10-pack pass this year. So something easier, something simpler for us to use. And I can actually show you how it works maybe. My mouse does not like this table.
It's like having a leader kind of.
So the thought here is, so this breaks off, right? And you can put it on your keychain. And then we're gonna keep the bigger half. We bought a little 3x5 index box. And so we'll print your name on the back of it, and we'll keep it in the box. And then when you come to the pool, I didn't bring the scan gun, but wait, I can type it in. So this is our pool software right here. So member check-in, so it's 2023-000-001. All right, so it pulls up. So there's my member. I can always change this to the actual person's name later on, but I've already programmed the first 50 of them. I hit check-in member, it checks me in, and then I want to add the guest pass because each of them is 10. Say use guest pass, and then I can say, you know, Bobby or whoever used the guest pass. Because currently they're scanning it, and then they're still writing down on a list, Tommy used too. And so this way it's all electronic, it's all in the system, and it helps our pool count, so we actually can see how many people are checked into the pool during the day,
That's awesome.
because our software checks people in.
Brilliant.
So that's new this year. The other thing I meant to get from Barb today, so I could start to get them programmed, is the concession cards for the premium members. I forgot to pick them up, but with your premium pass, you get a $10 gift card for the concession stand. And so because last year we did water, this year they get that, and so they just scan it. It's a gift card, and so we put the $10 on it, and then the system, we just scan the price off of it. You use it like any gift card to pay for your items. So we're doing that.
Can you buy gift cards at the?
We are not selling gift cards. That's, our fiscal officer has asked us not to do that, so we're not doing that. Because there's a lot of legal stuff around gift cards, like the value of them cannot expire before 2 years. And then we have to keep up with them as a village. It's just a lot of paperwork involved with them that we don't want to do. So even though that's called a gift card, we're not calling it. We didn't put the words gift card anywhere on it. So that's why we couldn't use it for this, because then we couldn't have them expire at the end of the pool season. We'd have to honor them for 2 years. And we don't want to do that. So this is not a gift card, but it looks and acts basically the same way. And these are plastic, and I believe they've already shipped out, so they should be coming in any day. So just like anything that would be in a, thing.
And the reason that we wanted to go this way, did you explain that? It was
I
like,
don't think so.
so,
Easier, basically.
yeah,
I like it.
having one in the desk drawer, because when you're somebody like me that buys a gift pack and lets multiple people use it, I can't have the key on my keychain. So I have one on my keychain in case I'm the one that uses it, but if not, it's in the desk, they can just give the name. So if I buy it and I have Tanner and 4 of his friends coming, they can all stop at the desk, because if we just have a keychain, there's no way for anybody to scan it. So we have 2 copies of it, one for you and one for them.
Yeah.
That way they
smart.
can just come and say, I'm
Yep.
using the mayor's gift card, or I'm using the mayor's passes, which is fine. Because I'm usually there, and then they'll just say, hey, is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, but that way they don't have to come find me or do anything like that.
Right.
But Tanner can go whenever he wants, that way.
I love all that.
Yeah, so,
And it took us a while to get to this
Yeah.
point, because I'm like, we have to have something for the person that's not there.
I really went through.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was well thought
Like
out.
I typed out like 4 or 5 different options, the pros and cons
Right.
of every one of them, and this really kind of came down to this.
it came
I
down
love
to,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
For
think
me, it
this
did,
is
because,
the best,
yeah, and it's not just about me, but I know I'm not the only person that does, maybe I am the only person that does
Right.
it, but I buy a pass for my kids and their friends and people to be able to use,
Mm-hmm.
the extra ones.
Yeah, yeah, and the other ones were just a QR code.
Yeah.
That we had last year, and it was really difficult to even kind of tell stuff apart. So that was the guest pass last time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they would physically have to write on here whose it was, and then it was just a lot to keep up with.
Right, so this just makes the most sense.
Plus, we had to go back and forth between 2 different systems
Right. And
so
on this, we
will-
bought little markers that they can put the name on them, and
Yeah.
we bought little Sharpies to make sure that they
It's
have
all
plenty of
about being
options.
easy, it's about being as paperless as possible, because the front desk now will be on the Square register as well.
Oh, nice.
And they're both hooked up together, so, it doesn't matter which one you do sales on, you can do them on either one of them. I could ring people up in the concession stand if I wanted to, take members there.
That's awesome.
They have the cash drawers, so now it's not 2 separate systems, so that instead of having a cash register for cash and a card reader for cards, it's all one system
Are
now.
we like the only ones doing this?
No, I'm sure bigger places do this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I felt
Yeah,
like, wow.
we're catching up.
And I think that's part of it,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you go to the gym now, everything's done from your phones and apps and all that kind of stuff, but they don't they only allow you to have one guest pass and things like
Right.
that. So this is like the next best thing that's closest to that. And maybe we will get to the point that you have an app that's cheaper in the long run versus but these cards should last us a little bit of time, especially being able to reload and doing things. Like if I have my own card, I can actually reload this one.
Yeah, we
So
can reload it for you.
Yeah, so next year, because a lot of our members do come back, next year we could technically keep those and reload them next year. If they lose them, there's fees for different things. If they lose certain ones, I don't know about this one, but
They were both the same.
Yeah.
They did a $250 fee if you lose the card and want to
Isn't that
replace.
right, but
And honestly, it's the cost of the card and the cost of the Square transmission if
Correct.
you're paying with a credit card.
That's
We
it.
just don't lose any money off of it.
correct.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then, were you a full member last year? Okay, so, we do electronic, everyone has a e-pass now. So we just scan
I'm gonna have
this,
mine on my phone, yeah.
we just
Well-
scan this and that scans you into the pool.
I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was a kid,
Uh-huh.
I would literally just walk over. John was literally like my babysitter when I was
Oh,
a kid.
sure,
So
sure.
he
Yeah.
knew my dad, and he knew what was going on with
Yeah.
my family, so.
Well, and if you had a membership, I'm
Yeah.
sure he just,
Oh,
cause it was,
he was-
it
yeah.
was literally a list of
Well,
everyone's
no,
name.
well, in the olden days, we had to write your name and
Yeah.
the day when you walk in, and in the eighties and nineties, you know?
No, this is all tracked electronically now, so it's fantastic. It's a lot easier. We can run reports, we can see stuff.
Oh, look.
And every year we've made it easier. You know, memberships this year were a lot easier. And we're up to like 80 members. What is
Nice.
that? Oh, you're past.
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, yeah. We're up to, we already had, yeah, I think we have 80 people signed up already, and that was before Barb. Barb said she only processed residents over the weekend. There were other people that signed up over the weekend too that she hadn't processed yet.
I think we're gonna be quite surprised.
So we're having a pretty good sign up already. The other thing, and I'm not sure how much of this you know about, in order to kind of, I'm just thinking, you know, we pull the kids out of the pool for 15 minutes every hour, and then it's like they have nothing to do, or some kids want to be in the water, some don't. So we have added some activities. I think we're still trying to decide what or if we're doing the shuffleboard or how we're doing the shuffleboard. Because we can, the option is to buy a stencil, which is kind of expensive. It's a couple $100s for the stencil, but it can be reused over and over again. Or we have to paint them by hand, which would be a little more time consuming. To me, it's all about easy and
Yeah.
fast. But
This is the weirdest thing. I'm gonna show you this, and I don't know if it's just my phone, but for some reason it moved down there and it will not let me click on it anymore. It just closes out. So if anybody has, I'm gonna shut off my phone.
Yeah.
I was able to download them,
yeah.
but then now it's literally stuck on my phone.
Something, yeah, okay. So we've bought, so shuffleboard's still up in the air. I don't know if
It's-
we've nailed that down
I
yet.
think it's really just what everybody decides.
Okay.
I love shuffle.
Well, if I'm painting it, I want the stencil. If someone else wants to paint it, they can do it however they want to.
I'm pretty sure we had stencils because John was out there every year, if I'm not mistaken, painting that thing.
Yeah,
like,
okay. So, but we bought Connect Four, like a giant
The
Connect
giant
Four
one.
oh, nice.
for the pool. We bought a new tether ball for the tether ball
Nice.
thing. What else did we get? We got cornhole.
Did we buy?
Cornhole?
Did we?
It
I don't
was on
know.
my list,
I
but
don't,
know.
maybe.
Okay,
That's gonna be
maybe-
quite the exciting
maybe
year.
we bought that. Again, the shuffleboard. I feel like there was one other item, but maybe not.
feel
We
like there
talked
was-
about Jenga, giant Jenga.
I looked at that one, I think, so the other thing that we were looking into is how we get replacement parts, and we still haven't been able to figure that out with the Connect Four, because we have a feeling that that's gonna happen, and same thing with the Jenga, so that was, I don't know if she heard back from them, but she emailed the company, because I would like to just go ahead and get the extra pieces ordered, because we know
Yeah.
we're gonna need it.
Yeah.
We found red and black, like the checker ones, but it's not the same as the Connect Four ones. Jenga was the same thing. We haven't figured out how to. I mean, if you're missing one, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's just not
Right.
going to go straight across the top.
Right. You just take a level off. or
You just take a
something.
whole level off. So and that one was pretty inexpensive as far as that goes. And
Yeah.
and I do know people use them at the pool. We went to, my mother-in-law lived in a condo, and they had a pool, and that is one of the things. Jenga was one of the things,
Yeah.
and my kids actually did play it. I mean,
Right.
that's why I knew. I mean, I actually didn't think that was the
Yeah.
craziest thing, because that's what they had.
I mean, we could still get that ladder, the thing with the ball and the ladder, the ropes with the ball. We could still get things like that if we wanted to.
I think the other part to it is
But we can see what happens.
right. I
and-
think you're not limited to getting certain things before the pool opens.
Right.
I think it's one of those things that you also, that first weekend, you're gonna know if kids use it, if they don't
Right.
use it.
Right.
So you put out the Connect Four or Jenga, you see if anybody uses it, you even try to get them involved in using it. You
Right.
let people go over and start playing it.
Yep.
And then does anybody do it? Give it a couple days and
Right.
see if they take them and just throw the pieces and half of them are in the trash by the first day. Then
Yeah.
no, I know, but you
I
just,
do,
you
yeah.
have to play around and see what works, what doesn't work, what kids like. I mean,
Right.
tetherball was great, except for the fact that it lasted for a very short amount of time before it broke.
Right.
So do we just buy 2 or 3? I mean, it's kind of like other areas in the park, I don't want to mention anything, but you just kind of have to do certain things and see what works and see what doesn't work before, you continue to move forward. I
Yep.
mean, we know that there's going to be hiccups with all of these things. We know you're going to lose pieces.
Yeah,
At what point does it become,
yep.
not beneficial for the few guests that do use it or vice versa,
Right.
yeah.
As long as people are using it, I don't mind.
Yeah,
Us buying
things,
it, so.
things will get lost, things will get broken,
Right.
that's part of, it's just
Right.
like any, I don't wanna call it a business, because it's not a business, but it kind of is.
But it is,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. You have to run it in some ways as a
Yes, you do.
business, so. All right, let's talk about food, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's it then. All right, so,
Do you want us to go back to this?
oh my God, there's so much on here. All right, so I kind of tallied up the first initial order, just from GM, what are they called, GM Popcorn, I think?
I don't know, but if we could talk John into doing some popcorn, I will weigh 400 pounds by the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Because that popcorn was, or let's just invite him in once a
Athens
week.
Pool had a popcorn machine, I'm just saying. So the new filters probably would
That
be
could
fine.
be,
I get it, let's not break what we
but
have,
I don't
'cause
wanna
we need
break,
it to last.
I don't
so
know
I'm okay
anything,
right
yeah,
now.
I don't know anything about it, but if John says it's gonna break my pool, I don't, and I call
Yeah.
it my pool at this point, cause I lay in it too.
But right now, my initial order just from them is just over $2,000.
Gotcha.
Which we get a discount on.
Okay.
1%, 1.5 or something. All right, so kind of what I'm thinking here, the nacho chips, they come 48 to a case. I was thinking to start with 2 cases of those, cause I have a feeling that's gonna be a big seller. I was gonna get the little trays, they're 5x6 trays.
Oh, the
so they're
nacho
not-
chips, okay,
they're
what
not
he's
that
talking
big.
about is actual nacho chips with the cheese dip.
Hell yeah.
There's a bag of nachos,
Mm-hmm.
and then the cheese comes in cups that we heat up in a little cheese oven. Warmer, it's a warmer, it's not an oven.
Do we eat jalapenos?
No, because I can't get them in something, like you can.
It has to be prepackaged.
It has to be prepackaged. They sell jalapenos in a thing, they sell the nachos by themselves, but we can't sell food that we make, it has to all be prepackaged.
So, this is going above and beyond, and I am not trying to bend the rules. So, if we had individual, if you set ketchup and mustard outside, or do they have to be the little packets? And I guess I'm still saying
I
that
put
with,
the packets in here,
okay, because I think I was wondering, I think maybe what my question is
GFS.
if you just had jalapenos sitting
I know.
out there, and I don't wanna do something that we're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that is a question for her later.
Yeah, right now, I just wanna.
Right.
Just,
Sorry.
don't push
Yeah,
anything, yeah.
Right, got it.
And I don't want to either.
And I don't wanna overcomplicate things either.
No.
So I think let's start small. If that's a huge complaint from people, then we know and we can look
Figure
for
it
a
out.
solution.
I'm sorry, I'm hungry and I'm just,
Huh?
I'm hungry and I'm just.
I know, I'm sorry. So the nacho cheese packets themselves, they also are 48 and I figured get 2 of those. I'm not sure, maybe we get 3 because of the pretzels, but,
Personally, I would do 3 because I wouldn't buy a pretzel without cheese.
right.
I would not.
Yeah,
I
well,
know,
I know
Yeah.
some people like mustard,
correct.
so
And I
that's why I
don't.
got the mustard packs. I don't like mustard, period, so. Except for.
But you are correct. My mom would eat
Yeah.
mustard over, yeah.
I went with 2 packages, also 48 of the salted pretzels, but only 1 of the cinnamon for now.
Yeah,
Because the guy seemed to indicate that the sweet ones don't sell quite as much.
I can see that.
And then 1
I
package
can't.
of the icing, which is 60,
yeah.
so,
If those don't sell, I have first dibs on those to just take them home and eat them out of the container.
that's fine.
Okay.
Alright, now here's one I'm not sure on. So,
kidding.
We
so
should-
the hot dogs, so
Yes.
they are individually wrapped hot dogs and buns. They are very expensive because a case of 72 is $180. That's why the price is so high on there. So with those, I have to order them 2 or 3 weeks in advance. I only put 2 on here for now. I think it probably needs to be 3. And knowing that if we sell out of them the first weekend, we won't have them for 2 more weeks. But I also don't wanna have, if they taste gross as anything,
Have we
I don't think, I have not, he
Are we
said
allowed
that
to taste any of this stuff before we go?
what they do have.
But we missed
taste
it.
Things, but we missed it, yeah. We were not involved with them. We missed it by like a week. This is a very well-known brand, and
Yeah.
I actually researching hot dogs ahead of time before I even knew that they could do it.
You
This
watching
brand came up several times in my searches.
And then
It's
just-
called Eisenberg is the name, the brand name. So, but again, they're expensive and we have to order them well in advance.
So I'm just gonna go with, I personally agree, once they're gone, they're gone. If they do sell out that fast, which if they did and we were making that much money off of them, good for us. And it's plenty of time before the 4th of July.
Yeah,
So I would think that, let's see how, I mean, I'm just gonna say, I think because they're so expensive, and will people spend that much money, and I look at it two ways. I look at it as, and I just try to play devil's advocate. If Reese has the option to spend $10 on 2 hot dogs or order Swenson's,
Oh,
because
sure.
we have because we have, not everybody can order from whatever, but some people might just want it now. But for him, I mean, I'm just gonna say hot dogs for him wouldn't make sense because it would cost me $15. DoorDash.
Oh.
I'm just saying, if you're talking about 3 hot dogs for $15, or I order him
right,
Swenson's, he can actually fill up with Swenson's. But for the kid that's at the pool for 4 hours and mom sent him there with $5, they're more likely to get a hot dog. They're not ordering Uber, or they're not ordering DoorDash. So I look at it
Honestly,
both
even
ways.
last summer, I mean, how often did food get delivered? It wasn't a ton. I'm not saying.
No, I
people
was one of the
didn't.
only one. I very rarely. I
I
mean,
ordered food once or twice
Yeah.
down there, and
you don't see it
but
often.
for the most part, no. But I would have eaten. I'm sure I would have eaten a hot dog if it was there, even if it's $5.
Correct, and
I'm sure I would.
but I think it's the same thing when you, and again, you play devil's advocate. How often do you go to a sporting event or anything like that?
Right.
And I'm not gonna cuss on here because this is going, but you say holy freaking
Yeah, uh-huh.
bananas,
Yeah.
and then you still buy it.
Yeah,
You know, this is
exactly.
ridiculous, but you
Yeah.
want it, and that's what happens. And for the public record, and I know Jason already said it. Not only do these cost us $2.50 each, then you have the ketchup packets and the mustard
Right.
packets and the, all of the napkins and the
microwave to heat it up.
the microwave
all
to
that.
heat it up and the freezers to put them in and the, all of those things add up at the end of the day. We can't sell them for
You
$1.
know, I just thought of something. This is crazy thinking, but if the hot dog was $6, I would pay the $7 more to get the chips and the drink.
I know.
So that way, it seems like you're
Yeah.
pushing the sale, the combo.
Well, and that's really, you do get a discount on all of them together.
But I mean, like in the
But
sense that
you're saying
$5.50
more of
or
a
$6.
discount, yeah.
Yeah, because like you're upselling. You know what I mean? Like,
I know,
so for example, the pretzel is $4 or something like that, and then this is only.
yeah.
I mean, and this is coming from a foodie that likes to have his
I don't
snacks.
feel like honestly, I don't feel like the snacks are overly
No,
priced.
no,
and-
this is good prices.
And
This is
looking
actually
at other
super cheap.
places, they were about the same. Athens pretty much were dead on with what we're doing this year.
Right.
So I don't feel bad about the pricing at all.
I think things
I mean-
will sell
We
very
went up.
quickly.
At the end of the day, you try it, you see how it works,
Yeah,
and
right.
if it doesn't work, guess what? If we end up having to take a loss on the hot dogs and we end up selling them for or not a loss, but you
Right.
end up having to lower the price just to get
Right.
rid of them, we will. I
Right.
don't see that as being the case. The other part to that is, and I know we haven't hit this, so I'm gonna remind you of something. Are we going, because we're doing that, let's talk at the very end, are we doing anything for Memorial Day, 4th of July and all of that, and we'll hit that at the end.
Yep, and I have an idea about all that.
Okay.
So, okay,
I was gonna touch back real quick on the hot dogs.
Yeah.
If you did order 2 cases of those, we tried them out real quick and we tasted them. We did taste them. We like, oh wow, these are really, really good. Then we definitely ordered.
yeah, I'm pretty confident that they're gonna taste good.
I do too.
So I'm not really
Sure.
worried about, I am really not, so.
I think since we have the time before the 4th of July, because that's usually when it is really busy again, and you can kind of see what the weather's gonna do, if you just don't know. I mean, that's,
Cotton candy in a bag.
I like
We
it.
tried that. He brought us a sample. It was good cotton candy. So I ate most of it. Salted peanuts. So these are the Planters peanuts in the little skinny bag that you can get at any gas station.
And those
the
are-
cashews.
yeah, and those are a little expensive, and the only reason that I said to do that, and again, this is personal, so if you guys think it's a bad idea, you don't have to do it, but for me, when we go, you're not gonna see him buy a bag of chips. He will buy a thing of peanuts. We are not the only people that go to the pool that are a little more health conscious
Right.
than,
Yeah.
but, so, Jason and I, and it's just because we were looking at that, Jason and I were talking about, do we get salted peanuts and cashews? Maybe we just do one and see how they sell. That's a conversation for you
The
guys.
cashews are a lot more expensive.
And I would be
per
more likely to
piece.
spend more money on cashews than plain, but that's me.
I kind of split the difference. So we're not making as much money off the cashews, but we're making a good amount off the peanuts.
You know what parents
At that
like?
price. Huh?
You know what parents love? I mean, I guess those little snack things you get, Snunchables.
Oh, yeah.
So if we sold those, I'm just saying, if we had a whole bunch of those to sell to the kids.
I can look into that and see.
But not like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be the Lunchables brand, it could be like,
No, I know what
you
you're
know,
saying.
like the adult kinds with like cheese or protein, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I like those for the health
I'll look and
conscious.
see what we can find.
Yeah.
Um,
So again, I don't think, I wouldn't go crazy on it because, I mean, everybody, the kids are probably not gonna come and eat cashews and peanuts and all of that. So I feel like if we, again, I wouldn't go overboard in the ordering, but I would love to see, and I don't think those are gonna sell in the first 2 weeks. I think those are gonna be items
Oh,
that you're
right.
gonna have throughout the season, and I'll probably be the one to buy most of them, especially the cashews.
My guess is some of this stuff I'll only buy once.
I agree.
The candy, most of the candy I'll probably only buy once.
I'd literally walk over to the pool and buy ice cream, all kinds of snacks, just
I'm
randomly.
not saying,
We might have an
the Reese's
employee.
peanut butter cups, I went through 2 or 3 boxes of those last year.
Oh, yeah.
But,
We have an employee that goes to the pool just to get ice cream.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not mentioning names,
John
so.
literally lets me in just to
Yeah.
buy snacks. I'm like, I just
So-
wanna get ice cream in a
so
while.
I've narrowed down the candy to just a
What is on there?
limited one.
Yeah.
I know what I like, so.
There are 2 that I'm questioning.
Okay.
So the 2 I'm questioning are Milky Ways and Snickers. I mean,
Snickers.
not Snickers, Musketeers, 3 Musketeers.
I'm good without them, so.
I think I did not put them on the order.
Snickers and
Snickers,
Reese's are
yeah.
probably, or
So
Twix.
this is the definite.
Okay.
Twix.
Got it.
Yes.
I have Starburst left over from last year. They're still good, so
I
I'm
like
just gonna bring
Starburst.
that. Skittles.
Yes.
Just don't order the purple bags.
I have Skittles sours on here as well, which I think are the purple bags.
Yes.
No, the purple bags are the ones I will eat every,
Green and the
yeah.
sours.
Yeah, I'm
Well, I
out.
have sours on here
That's
too.
good.
Yes.
Those will do good.
Snickers. We went through that last year. Peanuts. I mean M&Ms, both plain and peanut.
Yep. Those sold good.
Ring pops, but I still have some left over from last year. Sour punch straws.
Yes.
I think that those will actually sell, especially
too.
because I don't think I'm gonna get those juicy pop stuff like I did last year.
And I think, again,
So,
if you have
I have some left
too
over.
many,
Yeah.
then people,
Exactly.
if, it's just like the chips. If you have 12 kinds,
Yep.
then you're gonna have some left over. If you have 4, they're gonna pick from those 4.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have those in blue raspberry and strawberry. Nerd ropes, which seem odd.
No,
but I
we-
know
we
that
have it at
those
my house.
hammock hunties enjoy them and bring them often.
Do you know, was there an option for nerd clusters?
No, there is nerds, but not clusters.
Those clusters are the cool ones, so you get the different colors in the box.
Yeah.
I love those.
Okay.
Yeah. The rope, I think, is the ones that are
That's-
on
yeah.
the rope. Yeah.
It's-
Leaf and strawberry, the best.
Hershey's
And
milk
it's-
chocolate bars. Believe it or not, those actually sold really well.
That's what
which was crazy.
that is my least favorite and Tanner's number one, which is the weirdest thing ever.
Kit Kats, I still have some of those left over,
100
although they
grams.
won't make it through the whole season because I think they expired midsummer.
Hopefully they'll be gone.
Reese's peanut butter cups
Yeah.
again, Airheads, which I still have some left from last year,
Yeah.
and Cowtails, which I
Yep.
still have some left.
And those did pretty well.
Yeah.
Again, I think that was one of
Yeah.
those things.
So that's kind of what I narrowed down the list. I also have Tootsie Pops on here, which
I think Blow Pops or Tootsie Pops, I don't think you
Yeah.
need both. I think whichever one is on there.
Slim Jims.
that was not an option.
That's crazy.
So, I
That's a
know.
good one though.
We'll
Because
have to
that's
look
a,
into it.
yeah, that's a good
Okay,
one that goes
so
with,
Now let's talk about ice cream.
okay, this will be easy.
So I did put the freezer pops on there.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I put the freezer pops on there is because when I was at the Athens pool, the director said one day their internet went out and they couldn't sell anything. And so they just gave away
a great
freezer
idea.
pops and water to anyone that wanted it that day.
Yep.
So I thought maybe we could do that as well
Mm-hmm.
and have them in there
That would be something cool that we could even do
for,
because they are
yep.
so inexpensive. If you go to like a Costco, I don't know what they have.
Let's see.
Do they have
Yeah.
them on there too? Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$12.50 for 40 of them.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have Good Humor ice cream and Popsicle brand are the 2 brands that they sell. The Popsicle one, they only have one character, which is SpongeBob. I figure we have to get that because the kids are gonna go all over
Yeah.
that. Last year they had Spider-Man and Minions. They don't seem to have them this year,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean they won't have them later on.
Right.
Drumsticks?
Because right now Popsicle has, yes. Right now Popsicle has a Frozen one, I believe, on their
Yes.
website, and maybe one other one that I can't think of what it is.
Which
So
would be
we might-
amazing.
They might add them later on, so I think whatever character ones they have, I'll probably just order.
That's what I would do.
Because I really think the little children are gonna go crazy for them. Cause that's what they liked out of the vending machine.
Yep.
Alright, so then, Good Humor, cookie sandwich, yay, nay? What are your thoughts?
I like cookie sandwiches.
Keep going and
Okay.
let's see.
Giant vanilla sandwich, which is the one, the chocolate with the
Everybody loves
chocolate
Yeah.
cookie thing. I had those last year. Chocolate eclair, Good Humor chocolate eclair.
That sounds good.
I know, and they have the pink ones and the chocolate. They have the
Okay.
strawberry. I'm just telling you
Yeah,
that I
picture
remember
them.
those from.
Orange Power Push Pop
Everybody, yeah, I know what that is.
drumstick. Reese's Cup ice cream. I feel like that would sell no matter
Ooh,
what.
yeah.
Rainbow popsicle,
Ah.
fudge bar, ice cream bar, and an orange cream bar.
fudge
Okay.
bar.
So, are they? How much of a price difference are any of them? Are they all
They
pretty?
vary, and
Okay.
I have, I think, premium ice cream and regular ice cream, and so they're different prices.
So I would easily
Oh,
say drumsticks. The eclair thing, again, I think that's
Right.
that's a orange push pops are just those ones that push. I mean, little kids like
Did you
those.
say eclair? Yes.
I don't, I mean, again, I'm hard with that one, but I feel like that's always in the vending machine ice cream ones.
Okay.
But I know, do they have the white or the chocolate and the pink ones or just the
I
chocolate?
don't see pink ones.
I know that they come in that. Type in eclair. Ice cream.
Good Humor.
Good humor. Yeah, that's it. So see how they have the
Ooh.
strawberry shortcake ones and those?
Oh,
Yeah.
there is a strawberry short.
I
just
love
didn't put it
those.
on. I just didn't put it in here.
So I don't know that I would
I've
get,
already
same
deleted
thing though, I wouldn't
Yeah.
do both, I'm just saying that's
uh-huh.
whichever
it. I
one.
think they
Strawberries
do
were
have a
sad.
strawberry shortcake. I did not put
You
it on
had
the
that
list.
last
I just was saying that's what kind they are, I don't like strawberry, I hate
feel
strawberry.
like the orange cream one would probably sell. I'm not a big into orange cream.
I would, here's what,
Yeah,
my
you
opinion,
could-
I would either do the push pops or that, I
Push
think,
pops.
like, if you're trying not to do too
no.
many, I feel like I would do like one of the ice cream sandwiches,
Yeah.
whether it's the cookie or the vanilla, and it's
Yeah.
not that you can't do them a different one the next time, but like the eclair thing, or again, drumsticks, I think you'd be crazy not to do it, you're also gonna have the SpongeBob again, you'd be crazy not to do
Right.
it. But I don't know that I would do like the 4 at the bottom of the 4 different
This-
kinds.
So the ones
Yeah.
I did not put in here are the chocolate eclair, the orange power push pop,
Yeah, again, I don't think I would do all
the
those.
rainbow popsicle. That was it. Those three are the ones I didn't
Yeah.
put.
I mean, the orange push pops is one of those things that those are more for little kid. In my opinion, the real little kids.
Yeah.
They're not
It's
the
like a
best
sherbet
tasting,
type thing
yeah.
or
They're
something.
actually pretty expensive too. so-
I wouldn't
We
do
can
it.
just,
Yeah,
No.
okay. So
I mean,
I'll
again,
just
I
stick
think
with what I have.
you would sell a
Yeah.
couple of them if you had them, but I
Right.
think they would pick
The other
something
thing
else.
I'm worried about is all this stuff in the freezer. You know, it's only a 23 or 27
Yeah.
cubic foot freezer, so I'm worried that we're gonna run out of room.
Jeez.
Okay, and then mustard package, ketchup package. I put relish packets. I don't know, thoughts on relish?
ooh, yeah, relish.
Okay.
Gotta have that for hot dogs.
Alright, and then I do have a napkin dispenser and napkins on here, which is pretty much a one-time purchase. Because we're selling food, so I think we need something like that. So that's now $2,241 right there. That doesn't include drinks, and that doesn't include chips. So chips right now, I have, and again, trying not to go crazy. So I did do the 4 Miss Vicky brand chips. We did pretty well with the Miss Vicky brand last year. So it's Smokehouse Barbecue, it's jalapeno, which believe it or not, we sold out real quickly on those.
Oh yeah,
It's hard to
those
keep
were,
those.
which was crazy.
Oh, Miss Vicky's are good.
Salt and
Yes.
vinegar,
Yeah.
and then
I
That's like
totally
the top
agree.
4: sea salt, salt and vinegar, and then the smokehouse and jalapeno.
there's the regular ones, which I don't have on my list.
They're just sea salt, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're blue.
pink.
The
Or pink.
sea salt and vinegar is the,
Blue.
yeah, the sea salt is the red one, right?
Yeah.
Pinkish red.
Yep.
Sea salt
Yeah,
is the pink,
yeah,
but then
yeah.
the.
So those
sorry.
4, if we could
Yep.
just do, and I
So I
agree.
think those 4.
I wouldn't even do like Lay's and all that stuff if we don't, or are we?
So,
Miss Vicky's is where it's at.
no, I think so too. I think the kettle chips are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Lay's baked chip on here.
Is it
Healthy.
I did not put barbecue, but I don't care. The only barbecue one I have right now is the smokehouse one. But
Again, it's just, if you ask me what my number one favorite, other than the Cheetos that I just had, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos, which I actually do not like, they're just addicting. I actually do not like them. but I will eat them by the bag, is barbecued baked lays. I don't mind the regular
Yeah.
plain ones. I know that we had a lady that came in every single day that I was there and she got plain chips. She didn't care what they were. So, actually she did. She didn't like the really hard ones.
Oh, she didn't like the cuddle ones.
Well, because,
Yeah, I get it.
issues with teeth and things like that. So,
This is what they used to serve at the pool when I was a kid, nothing but Lance brands at the
Yeah.
vending machines.
so yeah, I think, again, it doesn't matter to me, but I agree with the not going overboard with the variety of chips. I think having the regular chips, having like a Dorito of some sort,
have
only
both
one
Cool
or
Ranch
two,
and
okay.
regular,
And
Yeah, simple's
then
always best.
and I have Lay's
plain.
classic potato chips.
No, those did, as much as I don't care for
Yeah.
those, they did well.
The ones that I did not put in here that we sold last year, oh, and Takis.
Right.
Right. the
I think we
box
need
of
to figure that
Takis.
out.
The ones that we sold last year that I kind of, there were some I just cut out completely, just because they came in a variety pack and I'm not buying them single. But, let me look here, Cheetos,
No, I think it's the same
think
thing. I think if you
we
have
threw
Cheetos, you're
away
gonna have, yeah,
Cheetos
you're gonna have
last
that
year.
person that loves Cheetos as
So,
their favorite,
yeah.
but they have a second favorite.
Fritos I can actually get from,
Those are
Not,
good.
I like them, but I
Global-
think you would pick one of the other
Global.
ones. I think, I don't think having,
I'll say I'll eat the whole thing of Fritos.
What was the
oh,
hot
I
dog
like them
brand?
too. Don't, I
I'll eat the
mean,
whole thing.
I like
will
the-
probably go through all 60
I like the
more.
twist ones. What are
You
those?
do, yeah, okay.
I like the twist
Yeah,
ones.
those honey barbecue
Oh,
twists,
yeah,
that
no.
we had.
I'm a chip person, there's no question, but my point is if I go somewhere and
Mm-hmm.
they have 10 different kinds, I'm gonna pick the one I like. But if they have 4, I'm gonna decide which
Oh,
ones I
yeah.
want
Oh,
between the
yeah.
4 or
Yeah.
the 6.
The problem is I like almost every one of these.
That's,
so-
oh, I am too.
Which is,
What was the
which
hot?
means
I'm not a
from
huge
home.
Lay's, plain Lay's.
No, you're right. I will
not.
eat them.
I will eat them if
Yeah,
they're the only
mhm.
ones there.
I will
Oh,
eat
yeah,
them.
no.
Sometimes they go well with something,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not necessarily buying them by themselves.
What was the hot dog brand again? Sorry.
At Eisenberg. Funyuns, I don't know.
Same thing, I think kids, my son loves Funyuns.
Yeah.
But it's, if I have Funyuns, Doritos, and something else in there, he will probably pick the Funyuns over
Okay.
several of those, but he will eat the Dorito. Yeah, I mean, I think once again, we're getting to the point that we just have so many choices that you're almost
I'd rather
better off.
sell out of what we have than have too much, so, okay.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong
not-
with those, but
Yeah, we did the Lay's baked sour cream and onion last year.
here's what I also feel
know.
like, we need to worry about space and storage.
know.
And the more.
Well, that's why I got that shelves.
Yes.
To put those on.
the more options we give, I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
more we have to keep things separate so you can see them.
Yeah, I'm thinking no Ruffles. And
I think you need to do Lay's or
no of
Ruffles.
the Cheez-Its this year. We
No.
just didn't sell through them that fast, so, okay,
I'm not in disagreement. I think you're too many options. I think if you were,
perfect.
yeah, you just, we had so many options.
Okay, and then, so I just put this under Sam's Club. Takis, Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Sprite, Coke Zero, Mountain Dew. Believe it or not, Sam's right now does not have Diet Mountain Dew.
Really?
Which is weird. They have it in the bottles, but not the cans. And all of these run right now, the regular rates for soft drinks are about 50 cents each. 49 to
So
51.
here's my first question.
And I know we can get it cheaper sometimes.
Sometime, yeah.
But
So I think, yeah,
But what I didn't include that we did last year were like Sunkist, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi.
that's where I'm gonna say.
know-
I feel like, and maybe I'm out of line just because I'm a Diet Mountain Dew person. I hate Pepsi. And
I'm not
I
Everyone
feel
likes
like
Diet Coke.
everybody, not everybody, even when I see things at the office or different, I think you're gonna do better with the Coke. I think the regular Mountain Dew, I'm not a Mountain Dew, but a lot of the kids drink it, or the Dr. Pepper. But again, I feel like if you have Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper and this and this
Yeah,
and this,
you have too many of
you're
them.
too many
Yeah.
options that you're gonna have stuff left
Yeah,
over.
I agree.
But I feel like for me, I'll drink Diet Dr. Pepper, I'll drink Diet Coke, and I'll drink Diet Mountain Dew. If you have my Diet Mountain Dew, that's my first choice.
Yeah.
But if we don't
Yep.
have it, I'll pick something else.
Right.
So, like, even having Diet Coke, Coke Zero, regular Coke,
Right.
I would pick like I would probably do Mountain Dew, only because I feel like more people do that than Dr.
I put
Pepper.
Mountain Dew on the list. The only one, again, that they didn't have was Diet right now.
And I'll bring my own.
Which
I
is
don't,
probably just, they're out of stock and it's
Right.
not on the site.
and again, I don't know how well it sold last year. Just because I
It's fine.
buy it, but
What are the top 4
in Sprite, is that what you
soda
said?
products?
that we sold last year, it was gonna be Coke.
Yeah, we sold a lot.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, is really kind of those,
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think we ended up with a lot of Pepsi at the end of the season.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I like normal
We got
Pepsi,
rid of the
but
Sunkist, but, you know, it
Took
was
a
kind of a
while.
little slow.
I see Sunkist being,
But I feel like it's the
Children
same
like
thing. I feel like if
Yeah.
you, the Gatorades also went
Oh,
pretty
yeah, and
well.
I need to figure that out, Gatorade or something.
It's expensive.
Or Powerade or
Powerade.
something to that effect. Here's the, I tried to see if we could get Coca-Cola to deliver.
Yeah.
And they were like, you have to put a $350 order in order for us to even bring anything.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I might put a $350 order in, and it will last me the whole summer. But, you know, if you go with someone like that, you can't sell the other stuff. Like, if they don't bottle it, you can't sell it.
Right.
So they bottle Dr. Pepper here in Columbus, but we wouldn't be able to get Mountain Dew from them.
Right.
So you're kind of stuck with what they have. We don't sell enough of it now to qualify for that. However, with the right pool and amenities, we probably could.
Well, I would love to see like fountain drinks eventually or
Absolutely,
something like
yeah.
that if we had it in the,
Absolutely.
because you make so much money on those.
Yeah, and we could even sell a.
I would prefer to get them like McDonald's though, because they have the best Diet Coke.
That is, yeah,
I know.
that's a lot.
I know.
All right, so that's,
I can dream.
that's the food.
So I like all of it. I agree with you. I just think going too crazy on the candy bars and all that kind of stuff and on the chips, I like just limiting it a little bit more. Same thing with the pop. I just think 8 to 12 different ones is too much. I would
Yeah.
try to limit it 6 or 7 max.
Yeah.
And then if we want to add in more, we will, because you're still gonna have Gatorade, you're still gonna have the kids' juicy drinks and things like that, or Powerade, whichever.
Right.
And I think you boil down to the same thing. If we have Gatorade, they're gonna buy it. If you have Powerade, they're gonna buy it. I would like to see a zero and a regular, because again, you do have a lot of parents that don't want their kids having a lot of the Gatorade sugar,
Right,
but some don't care.
right.
So it would be, and they're the same price, so it
Right.
would be nice to see a
I'm sure we
variety.
can, I'm sure we can get them,
Either one,
They didn't
yeah.
get on my list yet, so I need to add them.
Yeah.
you have some
See what we
serious
can-
heavy hitters on here, which I like the popular stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, that, you have to,
Right.
yeah, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that it?
No. Let's talk about the day of
Oh, yeah.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, okay. So I know we did kind of a party, like, not a party thing, but.
Right. I don't like the idea of Memorial Day weekend, and I'm just gonna tell everybody this. It is graduation weekend, we know that.
I know.
I will not be here. I'm gonna be very difficult to be there. I have graduation, and not that it's important for me, but everybody knows I at least do show up and try to help a little.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So, because we're selling food this year.
Right.
I'm not really, I don't know that we need to do that.
I
But
would
what I
s-
would like to do maybe in its place is maybe do a couple theme days or weekends.
Oh, yeah.
You know, say, hey,
Yeah.
like Christmas in July, and we could set up a little
Yeah.
Christmas tree out there or something, you know, just do something fun, have Hawaiian weekend and.
we could do like a
you
Christmas in
know,
July and
wear
have.
your
Yeah.
red, white, and blue for 4th of July.
I like this.
I know MPCA does little
Pajama
things like this,
parties at
but
the
maybe we
pool.
do like a Christmas in July for school supplies or something like that
Oh, yeah.
for Hawthorne,
Brilliant.
or a little bit of a give back to some. I mean, Minerva France has done so. Obviously, we're here.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do something like that for. Whether it be school clothes or whether, again, I'm thinking big on that one, but I don't know. Maybe we could do
Okay.
something to where you donate crayons and backpacks and,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, I love the idea of like a Christmas
Yeah.
in July if we did something like
Right.
that. The other thing that would be nice if, and we have plenty of time to talk about this, doing like I know weather is very dependent and, you know, Labor Day weekend, but maybe trying to come up with something like, you know, a member appreciation, even like the weekend after the pool technically closes. I know it's hard because you don't know what the weather's gonna be
Right,
like.
right.
And even if this is something we talk about next year, we've talked about it for a couple years of doing something for residents only, or, you know, just like a preview. I think we see how this particular year goes. Barb has done some great things, getting some digital copies to the schools and all of that. But everybody start brainstorming about ways to increase our memberships.
Yep.
And, you know, whether it be just talking to your neighbors or, some of the inviting people to come with you, and I'm not talking directly to you, but, trying to invite some friends, like last year, I know we tried to get some of the officers and their families to come and, all of that. And now we have officers that, they're all excited about bringing their kids, and of course now they're paying to bring their kids.
Yeah.
So it's about inviting some of the or inviting some of your friends that don't necessarily come to the pool, and, having residents do that, or maybe we do bring one free guest on a certain day or something like that. Again, it's getting people to the pool to show them how much work we've put into it.
Exactly.
And how much work, I don't want to say we, but, Jason's done a ton trying to get the concession stand going, and, some people may just be like, oh, I went there 5 years ago and it was trash.
Yeah.
Whatever, and now you've done a lot.
I have a way to advertise the pool
Yeah.
a little bit, especially with this. What if Columbus Food Dude visited the pool, took some pictures of some nice hot dogs and snacks,
Yeah.
take some pictures of some cool things, and the pool, not only is he advertising, hey, I just want
Right.
to stop by here, this gets the word out, and also advertising cool neighborhood pool. We're trying to reinvent it, not
Right.
make ourselves look
I think
new modern.
anytime you can do it on different social medias to remind people that there's a pool.
Yeah.
And remind people, because, I think the hardest part, and people forget this, and I can vouch for it, I had 2 kids and didn't know this pool was here, and my grandparents lived 5 streets over. And even when I knew it was here, I still didn't come over here, because I had no reason, I never saw a picture. The first time I ever stepped foot in this pool, I was the mayor. And that's with 2 kids. We used to go to JC.
That's crazy.
Okay, but
I was on council in charge of the pool before I stepped foot in it, so.
but it's a fact
I've
that people
lived there,
don't.
so.
I understand, but it's the realness of.
I didn't even know where it was.
I promise you, there is a large portion of residents in this village. I don't care how many newsletters you send out. I don't care how many Facebook posts. I will promise you, if you go into, and maybe I'm exaggerating here, but if you go to 25 houses, I bet there is 8 to 10 houses that do not know where the pool is. And I bet you that, I don't want to say a number, but I bet you most of them don't even know that there's a pool there. Now, you got to be selective of which houses I pick. Come on, I can't just pick certain ones. But, I know that, and I'm not picking just on the new section. I'm new section, old section, newer residents.
Right.
I think that to assume that people know that we even have a pool is very negative on our part, because
Right.
there are plenty of people that do not. I will make that promise.
It's true.
We can fix that really quick. All right, number 1 idea, we'll do the Columbus Food Dude thing. Your idea was your signs up here, instead of having them at the entrance, we'll have them at every entrance you come into our park.
Okay, I'm gonna
With
warn
the
you
s-
on that. I am getting resident complaints from having random signs placed throughout the village, because they said it's making our neighborhood look like trash. Now, there's a 2-part to that, but just remember that not everybody wants to see signs all over their neighborhood.
Right.
And I'm only speaking for something that just happened
Okay.
recently.
Right.
And so is there a way, again, because it's not a negative way,
2-week initiative to help jumpstart the pool.
right? And maybe we do it that they're only there a week or 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that we do that, and maybe there's some nicer signs that we can put together, or something along that line.
Here's the most brilliant idea.
And now let's see if you come up with it, because I already have mine.
We need a social media influencer. Now, I know you're laughing at this.
No, I'm not.
Well, I'm
But
gonna
I'm-
warn
and I'm-
you that we are actually, before you go there,
And Columbus Food Dude might help a little bit on the food side, but like my niece does, like she's has her own little rap videos, stuff like that. She has a lot of followers. This is just a hypothetical. If she came to the pool, had a great time, took pictures of her and her friends hanging out, and say she has 1 million followers,
Yeah.
I learned a story from a guy who ran a restaurant. He gave me a free meal, and he said, and I asked him why. He said that you're advertising for how many people? 1,000 people. So $10 meal for 1,000 people, that's free advertisement.
it is. Oh, no, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
We are in the process of, and I shouldn't say we, Barb is in the process of taking a couple, she's been on she did a seminar today with someone, you kind of know a little bit about this, that has to do with social media and village and our requirements, that if we have council people or myself commenting on certain, that's related to the village, and it is something that we just have to be cautious, and we are in the process of getting our attorney involved, and what can we do and what do we need to do, and what are the we do not want to sidestep any rules or regulations and laws. We want to make sure that our social media is done the way that it
Of
is
course.
supposed to be, absolutely.
Properly.
But it doesn't mean that you can't, your stuff is separate, but when you start crossing lines is where we just need to know what is our obligation as a village
Yep.
for retention. So that's just a little bit on that. I would also like to say, we've spent a lot of money this year for the pool. But the one thing that is missing is a real sign that shows that there is actually a pool right there. We have a sign that's this
Yeah.
big,
It's true.
and it is not even the name of the pool.
We've never had a sign.
It's like, it just says like swim club or swim something. And it's just something that has bothered me.
I think that's part of us redoing the pool. Is us having a logo created and proper signage done.
Yes.
So-
So,
Just a guy.
again, it's one of those things that it's almost like we should have something that's at the end of Cleveland Avenue, at the end, and after I
Yeah.
just yelled about having signs, but a real sign at the entrance of Minerva Lake Road. Me trying to explain to people how to get here is very difficult. I'm like, you turn at Valley Road that barely has a sign, and you can't really tell it's really a street, it looks like an alley. And there's a sign that says maybe something about a pool, you get my point.
Yep.
So
Right.
it would be lovely to even
Well-
get a part,
As we're talking as council about redoing that road, adding the sidewalks and whatnot
Yes.
to it, I'd say maybe we put in electricity or something like that for a sign. It may not even need to be lit up, honestly, because the pool's open mostly during the day, but, let's think through it. And if
Exactly.
we need to have something installed while that work is being done, let's plan on getting it installed.
exactly.
while
I just
that's
wanna
being
make sure it's on the radar, because I feel like that is something
Yeah.
huge that's missing, that, again, residents that don't know that it's there, still don't even know that it's there,
Right.
because
Right.
we
Yeah.
have a lot of signs throughout the village. It would be nice if we had some attractive signs that really catch your attention for, I think it just gets mixed in the mash.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like there's I don't feel like that is a pool sign. I don't feel like that's
I
what you're
agree.
looking for.
I agree. Yep.
I
I
would
feel
like
like our
to-
pool needs a name or something, or a
Yeah.
logo, so that can all be part of what's happening.
I feel like this is our star attraction of the neighborhood. It's always
It
been the
is,
pool.
it is, absolutely, yeah. Cool. I'm sorry it's getting so late, but,
No, you're fine.
Oh, I knew I was gonna be here till midnight.
no.
Anytime I come to Jason's meeting, I'm like,
I know,
oh, we
my
gotta
needs are
eat dinner.
always so
I brought
long.
snacks, so I'm
sorry.
good.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No,
Fine.
And I try to have them often so that they don't have to be
no,
that
it's,
long.
No,
it's,
this is
it's,
good.
tis
This
the
is good.
season. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is the season. Unfortunately, it's also the season where diversity,
yes.
whatever, I know I made it a week, but it's supposed to be a weekend. I've had a few thoughts about it. I think some things we just repeat from last year. I would kind of like to do the backdrop again. And,
That was cool.
New people in the residence, the hand thing with we painted our hands
Oh,
and we did it on
yeah.
the tree.
That was
Kind of
neat.
do a new one.
Okay.
I think we still have, up on the website, the flag stuff where you can print the book and do all that. It's just really promoting it ahead of time. Then the other piece that I was thinking about that I'm hoping maybe you guys can give some thought to was, we did those videos last year. And I liked the videos. I think they were a little lengthy. I would like something shorter. You don't remember seeing the videos we did for Diversity Week? Like Abra was one of them, and then I've already lost his name. Hazel's husband, Nikki's husband. Noop was one of them, and then there was another one.
I know what she looks like,
do
but I
recall.
I
can't.
can't think of her name off
Yeah.
the top of my head. Anyways, there were 3 of them she did. What I'm thinking of is maybe we just ask people to submit like an Instagram reel or a TikTok video.
That would be
And
so cool.
really just kind of do like, answer a question, and then you have to say at the end, like, I am Minerva Park or something to that effect, and have people submit them all to us.
What if you did
And then we
something?
post them all throughout the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
What if you did something like, and maybe, what is your favorite food from your country,
Yes.
or what is your favorite holiday, or what is your favorite something.
Yeah.
And again, I don't wanna be touchy
Right.
on, exactly what would be great to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
What is your, what's your favorite thing about Minerva Park is one thing, but it doesn't really bring in the culture of where
Right.
they're, so I think it would be nice to just ask people, what's your favorite food, or what's your favorite
Yeah.
holiday, what's your favorite,
And there's, yeah, I was trying to think about how we can do it different each year, and food is definitely a big thing, like
Mm-hmm. Right.
different cultures have different food.
right,
I think, dancing is another one, what kind of dancing
Mm-hmm.
you do. Holidays is another one, what kind of holidays you celebrate.
They could do-
There's a lot of
they could do
options.
Instagram reels of their local, like, not their local dance,
Yeah.
but like their, I mean,
Yeah.
their,
Native costumes or
Yes.
dress,
yes,
traditional,
Attire.
traditional attire, all
There's
that
some really
stuff
cool-
can
yeah.
be parts of it, where we could do different things each year. There's, obviously on this committee, there's a lot going on, and it's hard to juggle everything that could be in that with everything that needs to go in
And
the
this-
pool.
and
So
I'm just gonna-
I went into this year knowing I'm gonna have to be a little more harder on the pool stuff, so that in the future I can put a little more emphasis on the other
Correct.
thing.
and I think that that's a good thing to remember again when we go to, if we ever do realign some of the committees.
Sure.
Is I do feel like this particular committee, and I understand, like you said, in the future, hopefully, and the problem is the pool's never gotten easier because you always wanna make it better. And
Oh, sure.
as we continue moving forward, I think it is gonna be extremely time consuming, and you guys have to set the rates and you have all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And people have said it numerous times, you are all hands in.
Yeah.
So not everybody's gonna be doing
Right.
what you
No, I
are.
know. Yeah.
So the issue is this particular committee, and I'm just gonna flat out say it has too much to do.
Yeah.
In comparison to the others. I
Sure.
mean, you have to do a meeting almost every single month because you have diversity week, you have the pool, you have the landscaping, you
Right.
have all of this, and
Right.
there is absolutely no reason you should, I understand it's community grounds, but at some point it needs switched to a different community.
Yeah.
You're okay doing it, and you've
Right.
done a very good job, but moving forward.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think it is too much on one person when you have other committees that, and I'm not saying they're not doing anything, they don't really
No.
have the responsibility to do anything above having a
Agreed.
meeting an hour a month or an hour every couple months. And again, it is by no stretch
I know what you're saying.
a bash.
Yeah,
It's,
right.
they're not aligned correctly, and we tried to do it a little bit, and, some are more hands-on, some are more whatever.
Right.
I feel like they really need aligned a little bit better, because this particular, it's my favorite, don't get me wrong, and
No, I
it's
know,
not because of
I
you,
know,
but
yeah.
I'm interested in the pool and the landscaping and all of that, it's just too much for,
Yep.
it's too much for one person, and let's be honest. If you got a cold and was sick for whatever, or, just something stupid, Reese, he hurt his shoulder.
Right.
You hurt your shoulder or something like that, and you can't be here for a month, that's gonna fall on who?
Right.
So it's very
get it.
difficult
Yep.
to have one particular committee
Yep.
doing all of this.
Well, and some of the stuff is just getting us up to speed on a few things.
And it
then
is.
And then
I
we're
agree.
good, right? So,
In all 44 years, this is the most next level thought out stuff I've ever seen in my life. So kudos to you,
Thank you.
and pat yourself on the back for this.
Yes,
is
it
brilliant.
is,
And I know that's a lot of work, just right there,
and I think that's
So good
part
job.
of it. The amount of work, because I have been hands-on with the pool right along with you on a lot of this stuff. I know how much work this has created for me, and you're only bringing me this stuff already done.
right.
So,
true. Well
I mean,
thought out.
it is, I mean, I'm
Well.
trying to create, we're all in the office trying to just create his POs
That's
for things
true.
that he's doing, and.
I'm creating a lot of work with these.
Sitting,
I'm also trying to make other people's jobs easier.
absolutely,
You are.
and that's just it. In the future, it is
Yeah.
gonna be a lot easier, but, but it is a lot for one particular person to be
Right.
responsible for, and it's not because you don't like it, I'm just saying, again, if you wanna
I
look
know.
in the future, you're not gonna do this particular committee, and maybe you will for 16 years or whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't see that happening.
Sure.
And thinking that the next person in here, and you don't want all of your hard work to go
Mm-hmm.
wayside because somebody else doesn't have the time to commit, and
Right.
it is a lot of time to commit. So if we realign these
Yeah.
the way that they should be realigned, I feel like all of the pool stuff does need to stay together. Maybe diversity week does need to be switched to something else, or all of the landscaping, something has to give.
I think, if we, there's, some of the stuff can just go to staff, right? So, when we get to a pool that is more functioning, a bigger pool that has more activities to it, it's gonna require a staff. And a lot of this stuff can fall under that staff for the pool. Landscaping and all that stuff really can fall under maintenance if that gets staffed the way it could be, So I don't disagree with you, I think it's just that,
Yeah, I mean.
we don't have the
right.
staff.
And
really
ordering all of
for
the
everything.
supplies
Yeah.
and making sure that
Yeah,
the snack bar concession stand is full of what it needs and who's responsible to order.
Right.
It boils back down to, we have to figure out where we want to staff people.
right.
John is the pool manager, do we create something underneath John, that office person is the person that's gonna be responsible for ordering and has a certain
exactly.
budget, or,
Yeah.
so, I mean, those are gonna be the things that we're gonna have to talk about later on in this year for budget for next year. As far as the maintenance goes, because again, we can't continue to either hire out, we've just gotta make a decision and stick
Yeah.
with it. We have, I mean, this is the decision we made, that we were gonna
Right.
cut the grass and we were gonna do all of this.
Right.
But, then we're talking about, okay, but now we want him to do this, 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 and this, but yet we still only have that one person, and that's great in off-season. But you get the point. So it's, we have to figure out how we want to move forward, because the council person cannot be responsible for making sure that all of this food is ordered and picked up and delivered, and, making sure that we're counting to make sure the stuff is delivered. So who's gonna be there on the delivery days? Who's gonna do all of this? And
Right.
yeah, I understand you're doing it now and making sure
Right.
chairs are delivered and
Yep.
all of that, but future, I don't know.
I'm like, who are you gonna teach all your knowledge to?
Yeah. So, and again, there is a lot of work that goes into it,
I
and,
feel like I'm pretty good about sharing my knowledge to a lot of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
I want people to know what I do so that they
Yes.
can do it.
and it has
So-
been, yes, and it has been that way, and we've done a lot of things that are that way, which is why we've changed email addresses to, assistant MP, because we had some of the turnout, live and learn, I mean,
Yeah,
we've done a lot of that.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we have definitely learned a lot over the last couple years, things that we did before that didn't make sense.
Yep.
And that's where we are now, and getting this to where we want it is going to alleviate a lot of work in the future, but it doesn't alleviate all of the work.
No, it doesn't, no.
And each year we want to make it bigger and better, and each year we continue to come up with bigger and better things.
I love these vibes.
I know, isn't that cool?
It's so like, I wanna go to the pool and hang out and order stuff.
I mean, it's about
like-
creating the atmosphere that
Mm-hmm.
you feel relaxed in, and that you wanna come to, and, I mean, that's
When
what
we
it
get
is,
those
right?
awnings up,
Yeah,
it's gonna look like.
Yes.
Like
absolutely.
next level. I think people are
Absolutely.
gonna look at it like, I have got to be a
Yeah.
member of this pool.
Think about, we have 40 new chairs also for underneath those awnings.
That are all gonna
Regular
match.
chairs, right, that we bought. And then we have 86 new lounge chairs.
So this is gonna be super suave.
Oh, yeah,
like,
it's a
alright.
process, it's a process. So between that and then kind of a remodeled concession stand, even though it was kind of brand new last year.
Yeah.
Already getting a remodel.
No, this
There's,
is
there's some, yeah,
well needed. This is gonna take it next
Yeah.
level, I think,
Yeah.
for sure this year.
yeah. Cool.
And, yes,
So, but again, diversity week, I'm not sure how to get people to load these things, so if you have any ideas, let me know, cause I'm not the best social media.
And I
person,
think that's
but-
gonna be the next question is, are we looking for MPCA to promote some of these, or are we just gonna do it on our village Facebook page and have Barb upload them? Again, I know that there's a lot of discussion of trying to keep things separate
Mm-hmm.
from MPCA, so I don't wanna bombard them without asking for their permission.
Yeah.
If we do want to share it to that,
I think they could share it if they want to.
If they want
I think
to,
they
yeah.
have the option always to do that.
so if they
But-
want to send the file to, if there's a video or something that we want uploaded, I mean, they can send the file to myself or Barb, and then obviously I can get it to her.
Cause I think you can download all of them, right? You can download
Oh, yeah.
TikTok videos, and you can download Instagram
You
reels.
should be able to
Or
Facebook, yeah.
Facebook reels, whatever you wanna do, so I think it's just
You just share them to your story,
asking the question.
yeah. Whoever wants to,
like,
yeah.
Whatever our questions are that we want the people to
Yeah.
answer and post about. So,
Yeah,
Cool.
other than that, I mean, maybe we have, if David wants to get involved or somebody wants to get involved and find 5 or 6 residents to ask to do it specifically.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we could put out the request to do it.
Yeah.
If we don't get anything within a couple days, maybe
Right.
we reach out to, you know, a couple of people and just see if they're willing to do it. Maybe get NPCA to put a message out to see
Yeah.
if there's some people that would like to do something like that.
Cool, okay. And then if anyone has a recommendation for this pool subcommittee, please let me know, because I have 2 right now. I have Gina Carfagna,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I have Abra
Well, that's-
Greensburg.
Yes, those are
Great.
awesome.
Great,
Have both volunteered, so,
wonderful.
again, I don't want it to be, it should not be council members.
I agree,
It needs, so.
because we already have our say.
Yeah, right, it needs to be
Is John?
other people. John should be involved with it too, I think.
Probably. It doesn't mean council people cannot come.
Can attend, but yeah.
They can
the
attend, but I,
committee itself.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like I need to keep my mouth shut
Yeah.
until the end
And
because,
I think bylaws say it can't be more than 8 people, so
so it would be nice, and this is my
So we need-
thought,
2 or 3 more.
this is my random thought. I would say, Gina goes to the pool, Abra does. If we could find a resident, maybe I could talk to like Brady that's on planning and, cause I believe he's probably been there, but not, and again, just to maybe ask around some of those. It would be amazing to find someone that maybe has kid, and again, if people get mad at me for saying this, but it would be amazing to find somebody that has kids that doesn't go to the pool. Again, not for any particular reason, but just to get, this is why we don't come, or this is,
Right.
you know, these are some things I would like. I would love to find somebody that I don't wanna say doesn't support the pool, cause I don't think that's where you're going with this.
Right.
But doesn't necessarily come to the pool. Maybe they go swimming, they go to their parents' house, they go to whatever. So they're interested in it, but they don't come.
Right.
And it's a matter of getting some opinions as to why they don't come and what would increase the chances of you
Right.
coming or,
Right.
so I would love to get a person or 2 in the mix that I don't see at the pool every week.
Right, I agree.
And maybe it's because they're at work. I mean,
Right,
again,
right.
so just to get some variety of people that,
Well, think about it.
so
and if
think
you
about, yeah,
Know of anyone, just send them my way,
yeah.
yeah.
And then,
Because I need to get it together pretty soon, because our engineering company wants to start meeting with us about some stuff. so-
yeah.
Which is exciting.
The only other question that I guess I have, and I don't know that you want to do this, and not very many people listen to this, so they won't hear this anyways, and I'm gonna say something horrible. Is it horrible to post something that says on Village only? Because again, I don't want to bombard NPCA, but doing a Village post that, do you have strong feelings about the pool one way or another? You know, the new, we have and just being blunt, we have a committee that's being put together to shape the future of the Village pool. We're looking for residents that are extremely pro and con pool. We want ideas. We want to know. We want to get people involved in this that would like,
Yeah.
and there's obviously a
Yeah,
way to say it much better than what I'm
can't be-
saying.
It can't be con pool, because this is
No.
about, it has to be,
You are correct, yes.
they,
The vision for the pool.
yeah. They're
You
not
can't-
current
yes.
users of the pool for some reason, but they'd like to have input into a future pool.
I think it's one of those that if they don't have any interest in a pool, they're never gonna come to the pool, they don't ever wanna see a pool, is probably not a person that's gonna
Right.
give beneficial information.
Right.
Somebody that doesn't come to our pool, that goes to a pool,
Yes.
is somebody that
Yes.
I think is very important
Yep.
for us, because, again, I would have been a great person for this 5 years ago,
Sure,
because
yeah.
it's one of those that you don't have,
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have too many people that already go to that pool, they think it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't want that. We want a variety of opinions.
right.
We want people that, we want a multitude of
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah, absolutely. What's it gonna take to get the pool where it needs to be?
Correct.
You know, what are we missing?
People with kids, people
Yeah,
without kids.
yeah, what are we missing?
Because I think that's important, is having people with a variety of, different different opinions of what you think your pool should look like.
Yep.
People with kids and people without kids definitely have two different opinions. Cause I want the adults only pool away from the kids. My kids, my kids are grown, I don't wanna see kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm joking about that as I go to the baby pool, but you know what I mean,
Right, I
you
do
want a
too.
variety of
Yep,
opinions.
Yep, cool, okay. We good to adjourn?
Second?
All right, cool.